have come out of AMS and other companies that I work with. But the brief story is to say it hasn't been an easy journey. And what I'm doing today, or the transfer of mine to EMP, is for everybody. It's not for me. In the past, I used to come in here, stand at that gate, looking to go in there to get some work to do. Tony Obion was there with Dave Ingle, and if most people remember Dave Ingle, Mike Izan, and so many of the other people from Ranger. But after 30 years, I asked myself that, look, can we just still be contractors? We can't do that. After 30 years, I just said to myself that, listen, and Goldfields offered this mine to me. Point of correction, I didn't just spring up to say I want to own that mine. Goldfields said in 2022, we're going to close the mine and we want you to take over, but we'll sell it to you. And I said, you can't sell it to me because you've cheated me all these years. So you have to give it to me. So we agreed. They told me to go to government and get a no objection letter. I went in there. And I must thank our former president, Nanado. He gave me a document to sit with Goldfields and negotiate and keep the mine going. When I did that, unfortunately for me or for EMP, I got called by the CEO of Goldfields and said, look, we have a challenge here working here. How are you going to do it? I said, oh, leave that to me. He says, no, he wants to know because they want to hold our hands. So, me being too known, I went and opened my mouth and showed him how he would do it. Then he later also said, they'll change their mind. I said, no, you can't change your mind. You told all of us you were going, so please go and leave us to do. Fortunately, government came in there and said, look, they'll hand it over. So we engaged government to let them know that mining is not just buying equipment and working in there. It is the key people that you need to put together. So I said, look, if I don't do it today, there's no Ghanaian in this country who can run a mine as hard as that mine, because that mine's rock is the hardest rock in, would I say, Africa. So even when you bring machines and you have a life of the machine to say you get 10,000, you never get 10,000 hours, you get less hours. So I engaged government and told them that, look, we'll have to do a big cut, which Goldfields would have spent about $1.4 billion to do it. But we know how to do it because we have all the other satellite pits to be able to feed in to do. So we did a bankable study, we looked at it and noticed that we could do it. We approached a few of the banks. In here, the bankers are here. One has given us 650 million, another 600. They are competing against themselves, but before they won't follow us. But thank you for coming. I would say that, look, if we all put our minds together, this is a success story. And the plan I have for that mine is not a joke. I just want to prove that we can invest in ourselves in this country. I want to pledge. I want to say it for everybody to hear. I got a text from one of our young men in here. It says we should build astroturfs for all the communities, which we're looking to do. We've applied for Damine to have an airport. And Damine, within 6 months, will have an airport such that we can fly to Accra easily from here. You should have said all that I'm saying. I won't pay you this month. In the next 2 years, we'll be able to drive from here to Cape Coast on a concrete road or an asphalt road. I beg you, this is not political talk, this is real talk. We're looking to put hospitals. I saw the youth. Is the youth here? The Damine youth, why are they? My youth. Thank you. You talked about a hospital. I'm looking to put 2 big hospitals in Damine. Not Damine alone. Is it Damine and Ateku? Or we will put it together. And Aboso. So what I want to say is that whatever money we make from here, we will reinvest it here. And I want to build my own personal house here. So I'll be living with you, Nananum. But thank you very much for giving me this platform. They didn't want me to talk, but anyway, I just said, let me say something. Thank you very much.
36 cases that we have reviewed in detail. If we are successful in recoveries, we can retrieve as much as 20.49 billion United States dollars. 20.49 billion United States dollars. The 36 cases, the high amount cases that we put together, and then the land loot, potentially we can raise about 21.19 billion United States dollars. And that is far more than what we have been chasing the IMF for.
A few moments later.
But that's what the propaganda Kofi and Co are showing. To begin with, nobody had said that we're going to recover 21 billion.
To all those looters who think that they are going to keep the loot, the Ghanaian people are saying that they are going to vote for the NDC so that we will recover all the loot. And I can quickly run through a few of the obvious targets. Those who are keeping our $2 million under the guise of coming to deliver a sky train, and you heard the chief whip talk about it, and failed to deliver, they should very quickly, as soon as the election results are announced, if they don't want oral officials, Operation Recover All Loot officials, and I'm lobbying hard to be part of that team. With Basitali, you know, as my deputy. We are lobbying very hard. If they don't want any trouble with the Ghanaian people, they should just prepare to refund our $2 million for that very dubious SkyTrain project. You are even struggling with your railways. Land, you are nowhere. And then suddenly, you say you are moving into...
One of the reasons why people are in prison in this country is because they are poor. The real crime is poverty. I know people in this government that they came here, they bought government land, they are finished buildings. I know all of them. I know all of them. So nobody should talk about Ora again. Ora is collapsed. We have collapsed it. One day when I get angry, I will release everybody's land document. One of the reasons why people are in prison in this country is because they are poor. The real crime is poverty. I know people in this government that they came here, they bought government land, they are finished buildings. I know all of them. I know all of them. So nobody should talk about Ora again. Ora is collapsed. We have collapsed it. One day when I get
members of parliament, so a number of members of parliament who believe in it decided to promote it in parliament. And you know the things I said before. I'm not a man of words. I'm a man of action. And that is how we got it passed in parliament. But for some reason, the president did not assent to it. That one is his own mangana, not me. I'm sure one of the reasons why you punished him and his party is one of this one. So we started and we processed it. It has gone through all the stages, and the next meeting of parliament to hear us asking to pass that bill into law. So don't listen to people who don't know what is in parliament. Please, I repeat, don't listen to people who don't know what is in parliament. His Excellency the President assured me that when we pass the bill and it comes to him, he has stated it before, he was going to assent it. So please, leave the rumor mongers. They can play that kind of calumny, bad politics. That is not what we are here for. We are different from those practicing it. Our cultures and values and principles are different. They know the effect and what it is doing to them. We resist it today. We will not be colonized again. That is gone. It's history.
I've been wanting to ask you this. LGBTQ has been a big deal in Ghana for some time. I've not seen you speak on it. Why have you changed your position on LGBT?
I have not changed my position on LGBTQ. And let's be very clear. I've been very quiet for obvious reasons. I mean, there's been a lot of misinformation that's been put out there. But let's call a spade a spade. President Mahama, when he won power, met with the Catholic Bishops' Conference, if you remember, in January, and indicated that he thought that the bill should be introduced as a government bill. A week after that, he appointed me as Minister for Communication. 2 weeks after I went for my vetting. At my vetting, I indicated that I would reintroduce the bill as a private member's bill. So when people say that I have changed my position, I've actually stuck to my word. I said I was going to reintroduce the bill, and I did. I reintroduced the bill in August last year in Parliament with a number of my colleagues. The Parliament of Ghana is going through the process. In 2 weeks, the Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs is going to be meeting on the bill. A 2-day meeting on the bill. So there is work going on. I hear people who say, you promise that President Mahama will know no peace if he doesn't sign the bill. Yes. If President Mahama gets the bill and he doesn't and chooses not to sign it, we will agitate like we did that in the past. Because as far as I'm concerned, Ghanaian family values are not political. Those who want to do politics with it is unfortunate. But as we speak today, there is no bill before President Mahama to sign. So what am I agitating or asking President Mahama to sign? Until we finish the process, and let me remind people, in 2021 when I introduced the bill, it took me 2.5 years to pass it through Parliament. I introduced the bill in September 2021. It only got passed in February 2024. Between 2021 September and February 2024, I never asked President Akufo-Addo to sign anything. In fact, for those who will remember, my fights were with the chairman of the committee at the time, Honorable Ayimedu, that he wasn't acting expeditiously in the committee. When the bill got passed by Parliament and it got to President Akufo-Addo and he decided not to accept the bill, that is when I took President Akufo-Addo on and said he should sign the bill. When the case went to court, I didn't take President Akufo-Addo on. I took Chief Justice Tokonu on and led the first demonstration against a Chief Justice in this country, against Chief Justice Tokonu. That demonstration, LGBTQ demonstration, was not against President Akufo-Addo. So today, if there is any agitation to be had, it is for Parliament to expedite the process and take the bill and pass it. But so long as the bill has not been passed, there is nothing that is sitting for President Mahama to sign. I am confident, and I remain reassured in the words of President Mahama, that when Parliament passes the bill, which we are working on, we will put it before him and he will sign it. For those who say that Sam George has changed his position, I introduced that bill as an MP when I was in a minister. If being a minister was supposed to silence me, I would not have been the lead sponsor of the bill again in Parliament. I have re-sponsored the bill. I will not trade my position on the innocence of Ghanaian children and my children and our Ghanaian family values for any political position. My views on LGBTQ remain the same. It's a serious aberration of the mind, and we will fight it with everything that we hold dear. To those who want to politicize this, sorry, we won't take the bait. We will not play politics with this. The innocence of our children is not political. Thank you.
President Akufo-Addo, as the representative of Ningo Pram Pram, the people of Ghana want to hear what your view is on the LGBTQ bill that is before you. Say something and sign it. Mr. President, you are beginning to appear as a supporter of LGBTQ. The people of Ghana and the people of Ningo Pram Pram do not want it. So President Akufo-Addo, it has been 8 months since Parliament passed the legislation. Sign it or tell the people what your stance is on LGBTQ. We know the stance of President Mahama. We don't know your stance.
Something you said a little earlier on about freedom of expression. So I want to ask you about what is happening in your country. And homosexuality, for example, which I believe is illegal and it's punishable. I mean, why is homosexuality still illegal in your country?
The social, cultural issues, if you like. I don't believe that in Ghana so far a sufficiently strong coalition has emerged, which is having that impact on public opinion that will say, change it. Let's then have a new paradigm in Ghana.
Is that something you would get behind?
I think that it is something that is bound to happen. And when that happens...
What's going to provoke it? What's going to make it happen?
Oh, it's the activity, like elsewhere in the world. Like elsewhere in the world, the activities of individuals, of groups. I grew up in England. I went to school as a young boy in England, and I grew up at the time in England when homosexuality was banned there. It was illegal. And I lived the period when British politicians thought it was anathema even to think about changing the law, and then suddenly the activities of individuals, of groups, a certain awareness, a certain development grew and grew and grew stronger, and it forced a change in law. I believe that those are the same processes that will bring about changes in our situation. At the moment, I don't see that in Ghana there is that strong current of opinion that is saying this is something that we need even deal with. It's not so far a matter which is on the agenda.
Or does it allow people to change the agenda as they wish? This is a fundamental belief that I hold and is grounded in my faith. I therefore assure you that the promotion of LGBTQ and all the pluses will have no place in our schools and communities under my administration. Thank you.
I think it's about time we make politicians know we voted them into power. The cowardice that Christian leaders have been made to and religious leaders have been made to is a shame. And I'm embarrassed with some of our clergymen. As much as we are interested in our titles, in the big titles, and who we are and how long we served, I'm yet to hear certain people speak against these manners. And for me, that is a shame.
And I am appealing to politicians not to politicize homosexualism. Because if we don't take care, in our bid to try to be politically right, we'll be offending people who love us dearly. And I have a saying that the people who love you, don't hurt them.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
We'll go straight ahead and look at what the newspapers are reporting this morning. But before that, still want to say a big thanks to the Almighty God for making it possible for us to return here to join the nation's conversation on the big issues that are making the rounds in our dear country, Ghana. Once again, my name is Audu Moro, and papers are here. So it's the newspaper and the online portal review. So Daily Graphic this morning is reporting that EMP unveils Damai development plan. Airport, road, health facilities among blueprint for enclave. There's AGI throws weight behind customs AI evaluation system but demands 48-hour dispute resolution. There's GCB pays out 265 million cedis dividend after 5 years break. Eyes West Africa expansion. That's in the front page of today's Daily Graphic. Now, the Ghanaian Times says that at fourth in Defense of Democracy Summit, VIB calls for urgent global financial reforms. And there's fatal microlight crash. Aircraft lost control during emergency landing attempt. Preliminary probe reveals. There's President Mahama cuts out for 24-hour market in the northern region. And there's MTN, Ghana to invest $1 billion in network expansion and cyber security. Daily Guide this morning says sack pensions boss over reckless spending, according to Asifwa. EMP pledges major investment in Damai. There's Nyenehine Bauxite Mine. Local companies deserve fair chance, according to Chief. There's Odo Group remains part of Achime Boakwa. That's according to the Diana family. AG, OSP relationship broken beyond repair. The Inside. Palestine, SMG reaffirms commitment, back struggle against Israeli occupation. And there's also government outlines phased disbursement plan to settle teachers 17 a month salary arrears from May. There's Iran, Ukraine, Gaza, international law, and the philosophical poverty of the West. Ghanaian company PCAF donates 240,000 cedis to support Black Stars 2026 World Cup journey. There's Cuban government rejects threats by U.S. amid an escalating blockade. Petition calls for installation of Datano chief amid Galamsey concerns. And there's the Ghanaian publisher, which has a very interesting story that apparently there's no rift between the Education Minister and the Get Fund boss. And it says insider dismisses claims of Get Fund Minister rifts. You know, this matter has been trending for a very long time, especially on social media, and it's been the talk in some quarters. So the Ghanaian publisher says that he has done his own investigations and he can conclude and can confirm that there's no such rift. All right. The Nyenehine Bauxite project says Giadeg accused of sidelining local firms. There's Odon Hene cuts ties with Ochin Hene. The Herald, this one, it says Ibrahim Mahama reveals Goldfields 2022 offer and Akufo-Addo support in Damai bid. I didn't wait to take over Damai mine. Goldfields gave me the offer. BNI harasses Medina Assembly officials for enforcing local laws against unapproved Oyarifa building. And there's non-traditional export surge to $5 billion in 2025 as a GEPA report shows 30% jump. Giadeg boards and board under fire over Ghana's bauxite concessions. There's Stogby Aperda leads Ghanaian delegation to Global Trade Forum in United States. That's the U.S. The Daily Banner says the minister unveils major housing reforms at RF 2026. There's outreach at Giadeg over Nyenehine bauxite deal as local firms feel sidelined. There's MTN Ghana strengthens fintech moves to bolster ecosystem. And there's a PCAF donates 240,000 to support Black Stars World Cup journey. The Daily Post this morning says Ibrahim Mahama pledges major infrastructure boost for Damai communities. There's a Nyenehine bauxite. Nyenehine chief calls for fair chance for indigenous companies. President Mahama applauds rapid progress on Tamale Teaching Hospital Cardiology Center projects. That's on the front page of today's Daily Post. And then if you go online, Major Online says the Mahama vows to keep inflation in single digits after sharp decline. Government targets tomato import cuts as VIB calls investment deal in Spain. There's government fuel relief avoids immediate revenue hit but puts OMCs under pressure. Well, City Newsroom says, Jinapo says government to launch a WhatsApp system for reporting power outages. There's BOG governor. Remittance inflows near $7.8 billion in 2025, surpass FDI. Bande says NDC members must follow election rules or face sanctions. And there's actions of some judges risk denting judicial independence, according to Godfred Dame. The Ghana Web, this one, it says former fuel attendant exposed alleged tactics used to cheat customers. And then there's the independence of the office of the special prosecutor must not be left to chance. There's former fuel station worker reveals how attendants steal from customers. That's interesting. Man arrested for allegedly stealing police armored vehicle. And then there's MetroTVOnline.com says no smear campaign can tarnish my image in Asamankesi. Hajia has been talking. And there's Veep Opokwajima joins global leaders in Spain for Democracy Summit. Then in Ashanti region, there's a man arrested after trying to steal police armored car. And Nana Santua Abuajua, queen mother of Achim Apija, dies at 68. There's Ghana Science Landmark PPP deal to boost tomato production and cut imports. And then there's so the Hajia I mentioned earlier is actually Hajia Mariam Mohammed. The EU backs Ghana with 20 million euros to upgrade Tema in Pakadang Railway. So that's it for the newspaper and the online review. Please stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. One of my guests is already here. I'll introduce him shortly.
Onunchoni ha o dama chichele wekun wani anuchumo osole moji ake ba wona ni aya ba ba shushu amen.
Finding the ideal property shouldn't be a daunting task. At MNC Properties, we believe everyone deserves a place to call home. That's why we specialize in providing affordable housing options under our flagship project, Fresh Property Joy, specifically designed for low and medium income earners. Our range of customizable homes includes 2- and 3-bedroom standard and executive options, all meticulously crafted using innovative interlocking brick technology. We understand the importance of simplicity and convenience in the acquisition process. That's why we have designed our procedures to be straightforward and hassle-free, offering flexible payment options tailored to your individual needs. In addition to our affordable homes, we proudly offer litigation-free lands for sale in vibrant and upscale communities that present the perfect opportunity to build your dream home. We are committed to making affordable housing a reality, providing you with the joy of owning a home that meets your budgets and aspirations. Whether you're looking to buy, rent, or invest, we've got you covered. Our service team is ready to assist you on 030-255-1917. MNC Properties.
As the days come and go, there's always shit. Let colleagues explore all the planetary bodies. Our mission is in Uranus to treat hemorrhoids, anal fistula, anal fissure, anal incontinence, hydradenitis suppurativa, using laser ligature for pain-free and speedy recovery. On Uranus Street, Accra, is Main Tuber Hospital and Coloproctology Center. Trust Uranus with us and we will delight you. Visit Main Tuber Hospital today or call us on 0244 581 541.
Hey buddy, it's me Azar.
Yeah, me now they see. Hey, you don't look fresh. Oh.
Hey.
With your label today, me.
Wait till you see what's inside me.
Azar, freshly made inside and out for greater coverage and colors that last longer and beautify your walls, spaces and places. Azar, no size. Go ahead. Buy now. Azar, #1 from Azar Group since 1921.
Hey, Unia, new release niana. Kaya gum. A bitino was me new release. Me can no access fita mu hono. And na Tabotech Garages Limited. Akwafa besiesi amana aye nitia. Obiasa ya car mu no. Accident car no na. Tabotech Garages Limited. Amana se gina ne naso sa no. Me se wo. Wo mu akwafa broni fita engineer efra brochiraba. And wo check cars no. Na wo hunu ba bi a fault krowo. And ho spare parts so ade hyehyɛ. Afenesi road. And so ho charges kakra bi o. Tabotech Garages Limited. Wo ye general servicing. Ebini engine overhauling, engine tuning, oven spraying, general electrical works, air condition installation work, BMU, upholstery, gearbox, Tabotech Garages Limited. Apart from sir, car that wotimi ato, and now toma wono, was higher importation of cars, and was spare parts, if la brutreba, wokoto car mawa, free. Ace, also what you kwawe. Tabotech Garages Limited, our La Paz Malam Road, after Bayard traffic light, wah. Bibiania for 0206. 48 17 and 3 and now 0542 96 11 11. Website tabotechghana.com. Tabotech Garages Limited. Hey, Tabotech Garages Limited. Your car beauty and the power boosters.
Me chechi amuni nara me ding eje baby dapa me di ade sonko kra na ebremo nya ode to aduane mo ama waduane e dapa na me de bremo eno any some spices dey emu wa wo bebre o various flavors ubenya eya akoko ubenya nyantwie yedigu jollof mu ma emu yede ubenya yedigu nkwan yedigu froye mu ho na kope bito na ema waduane enye de unyimi nia yenkon konko tie nyankofo eka.
Autant de communication, ni all enjoy Oduba. That's some spices. One in the essence, don't fight. I'm going to get it. Some spices in a side, that is so say. Some spices, Munsam.
Some spices, Yama chicken.
Some spices. In Sanaka in Kitswa, measure 10 grams. You want chicken, spaghetti, garlic and ginger, stew, and jollof, and the flavors of Odobebre.
Some spices, yes, Saka.
FDIJ Jadin Kratuyatum.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kelkit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush.
Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger.
Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kelkits, happy smile.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo kendini, who be here, Semetra Sapapadia to Amame Manfo, Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is several buying, a man is swing, Nesansu Mama Hotoso, a will beg you.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel. Happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Looking for the ultimate oil city getaway? Welcome to the Groove Etipon Beach Resort, where luxury meets adventure. Host your meetings and events in our fully equipped conference facility. Relax our sparkling pool, unwind in cozy rooms. Satisfy your cravings at our scenic restaurant and enjoy fun-packed recreational activities and a walk through our charming Venezuela. Whether it's business, pleasure, or pure escape, the Groove is your perfect destination.
Hey, Bunty, why you there? What lie tell I today go give me my money.
Oh, my guy, what's up? Oba un 17 and dede baby. Scan on ASA.
500 cities pay.
Ah.
I see. Level don't change. But to show me the way.
But there's some sorry, Manua. Talk to babe.
Here is Ghana dinero.
Huh?
Cash.
Yes, cash.
Shisha kwa mpa edubeko nkunimdie mu. Call wada.on.us na me sign up. Ema ore mfi se udi wo telephone number so ebeka ho uwie a. Afei, be games no emu. Shisha one shot game. Fasika kume bitu ho. Afei, numbers are free 0 to 99. Yedie wakuma pe. Na obenya sikache die free 50 Ghana cedis. Kopim 500 Ghana cedis.
So it be easy like that.
Just like that.
So I'll go buy my dream car.
Por supuesto. Just visit wanaown.us and win some cool cash prizes.
It's Bemi. Boom!
Wanaown,
you be too much.
Play responsibly. Gaming can be addictive. Accredited and endorsed by the Gaming Commission of Ghana.
All right, so you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Aldo Moro, and my guests are here with us. We'll kickstart the conversation now. As you do know, on Mondays, we bring you voices of persons who are not necessarily partisan. You may have your own perceptions about them, but that's fine. But they're not partisan folks. These are people who have independent thoughts and independent views and opinions about issues, and that's what we try to do. So civil society organizations, people from the academia, etc. So so one of them is here with us. For one has been on this platform a few times. One is what you call the new kid on the block on the Good Morning Ghana show, and even though I stand to be corrected. So Duncan Amwan, he's been a very, very good friend of mine for many, 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 many years. We've come a very long way, except that, prosperity can't hide itself. It's come very far. I looked at the car he's driving today. It's a Hyundai, what is it? A Hyundai, no, it's not an i10. It's a Hyundai, it was a Kia Cerato. Fantastic, beautiful saloon car. And when I knew him, we were all walking in the streets of Circle around the Tiptoeing area. Now he drives. So it tells you that small, he's getting there. Well, it's not for Uber, it's a personal car. It's a Kia Cerato, so it's lovely. It's a 2014 model. Good morning, Duncan. It's good to see you. How are you?
The mischief hasn't left you all the years. And I'm happy to be back. At least I'll be learning firsthand from the best. So, but that is an Uber that I used to turn around. Yeah. So in case anybody needs my service after here.
All right. But is that the only car you have?
I'll oblige. That's the only car my master gave me. So, literally.
Right.
Yes.
Because
I think I can even serve you for today.
Because the bird is whispering something else in my ears. I don't know whether I can trust that bird.
Let's get on the tree.
I don't know the source of that information, but this bird, yeah. Anyway, let me also say that I have a very good friend of mine, Dr. Joshua Jobin Jebuntie Zato, who is a lecturer, in fact, senior lecturer and a political analyst, University of Ghana, Legon, our alma mater. Good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you. Now, this is the first time I'm meeting
Duncan Amoy. Let me also say that Duncan is the executive secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers.
So if we need fuel,
yes, you can go to him.
No,
yes.
we buy. We buy. We don't sell. You see?
No.
The truth is.
He doesn't want trouble.
The truth is, you guys must be paying.
The right information must be put out.
No, but you guys must be.
It's every day that you meet the right person.
Look at, you see, no matter what the mischief at this table gets,
it's not mischief. I'm saying that every day you meet the right person.
A servant to all of you, I expect that you'll be paying your subscriptions at least.
So this weekend, yesterday, we were at the Marriott Hotel to launch a great book in honor of one of the greatest politicians of this country, Alhaji Moro Igala.
Right.
He's a pioneering politician from northern Ghana, a pioneering Sisala man, a man who put his country first and did an amazing thing. The title of the book is Alhaji Moro Igala, the president of Ghana who never was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's students of politics.
That's
Farouk's
grandfather.
Yeah, that's Farouk's grandfather. Yes, direct grandfather.
His mother's father.
Yes, his father's father.
Oh, his father's father, actually.
Yes.
Oh,
so the Alhaji Moro Igala's daughter married Alhaji Aliyu Muhammad, and they gave it to Farouk. So Farouk comes from that long royal tour of presidential and political.
So that's paternal grandfather.
Yes, it was amazing. President Kufuor was there. His Excellency Aliyu Muhammad was Mahmoud Bawumia was there. The National Chief Imam, Professor Avan. It was amazing, and I'm happy about this because as students we need to read more about our history.
Right.
Whenever somebody or some people contribute such an important document of history, it's good to document it. Kweku Baku Jr. was there, Sekou Nkrumah was there, Chief of Esekado. It was an amazing. And this book goes to add up to our knowledge of politics in Ghana. Alhaji Farouk Muhammad was there, amazing guy. He was may the soul of Alhaji Imoro Igala continue to rest in perfect peace. Thank you.
Okay. Duncan, how's everything? How's family? How's the chamber? How's everything? Everything going well?
More, I think that.
But first of all, I want to thank you very much for making time to join us. I mean, to think that you're taking time off your very, very busy schedule to be with us on the platform. We truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Service to you and Ghana.
Thank you.
I'm happy to be here, and of course, we have a very warm studio. That we could also contribute our trotro ideas, as I call them, to national building or nation building.
Right.
And I am happy again that on a lot of the topics, if you take out the NPP, NDC entrenchment,
right,
there's always a national position on the LGBTQ,
right,
on issues of the economy. People want improved economic fundamentals or numbers.
Right.
On electricity, people want their power to be stable. On fuel, there's a national agenda that we all want fuel prices lowered. And so when we all gravitate towards a common point, oftentimes you get the political class or the elite also followed that national thinking. And I'm not surprised that just last week the government also had to intervene, because there had been widespread calls for fuel prices to be eased down on. And so I would always go for platforms like yours that dedicates some specific days for what you would want to call the ordinary man's thinking. And I think that is what my being here would contribute greatly to. I would sometimes want to forget that I even attended a school and think with my stomach and the economic reality around me.
Right.
If I am not seeing things as I would probably have wished that they go.
Right.
More, it doesn't matter what political color one wears. I would want to say my mind as I think it should be, because at the end of the day, when we are all done here and go home and there's no water, there's still no water. The water will not discriminate that you have, MPP colors or NDC colors. If I'm going home, the roads are bad. They will not say that there's an expressway for CPP and GCPP, and if you are the other party. So whatever it is, the politicians can have their say, but we, the people, who sweat, keep them funded, should also have our way at the end of the day.
Right.
They can agree to disagree. They can even decide to fight, I mean, the political party colors, but fix Ghana for the ordinary Ghanaian. It's important because at the end of the day, not everybody would end up, you know, a politician, but everybody has one basis of, you know, being within this geographical space called Ghana. And that makes us all Ghanaians. We all will not be Catholics, we all will not be Anglicans, we will all not probably be, you know, Muslims or traditionalists or anything, right? But forever we would all be Ghanaians. And I think that more Mondays, platforms like yours are worth listening to, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But you didn't say anything about
you should have brought us you should have brought us a copy of the book.
Oh, I can get it in 2 minutes.
You should have brought us a copy of the book so we all can read, and one day, someday when you come here, we can have a review of it.
When we go on the break, I'll let it appear
order,
like magic.
Order.
It's
I know you're very powerful.
There's a magician in the studio.
Oh, yes. There's nothing Dr. Zato wants he won't get, unless he doesn't want it. He's a very powerful man. But it's just like he's humble.
Now I see the mischief you're talking about. Now I see the mischief you were talking about.
There's nothing Zato wants he won't get.
Oh, I think Moro is candid. He's not. He
thank you.
Now that he's not
thank you. Thank you. This is what friends do for friends. You protect friends, not expose them. He nearly exposed me. And my crime was that I've seen him driving a Kia Cerato, which is progress because the both of us were walking in the park. You know,
first they came for Moro for you, Duncan. I didn't say anything. Now they came for me.
And even when we have to say something, we said they haven't come for you.
Exactly.
They haven't come for you.
You know,
yeah, still there.
So, gentlemen, I want us to look at a very, 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 very important issue. Now, it is important because it affects our lives, all of us. I mean, if you don't buy fuel, the prices of fuel will affect you some way, somehow. But for us to have this conversation, it's also extremely important to understand what the genesis of it is. I mean, why are we where we are now? I mean, we just didn't get up and decided that we want to tweak or do something with our fuel margins or fuel levies or fuel taxes or whatever it is, depending on how you look at it. But something, there's a causal reason, or there's a cause. Now, it's about what's happening in the Middle East and the twists, the turns, the tension, the nail-biting moments, you know, the uncertainties and so on and so forth. Now, we were under the impression, you know, just about a week ago that we're beginning to see some progress being made because the three parties, here we're talking about the protagonists and the antagonists, depending on how you look at it, because I've got to be careful, but let me just say that there's three parties. Israel and America on one side, and then Iran on the other side. We're beginning to make some progress with their peace talks, which has been initiated, of course, convened by the people of Pakistan, the leadership of Pakistan. Now, unfortunately, those peace talks failed because the two feuding factions couldn't agree on one or two things. And fundamental issues had to do with the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, and then also the fact that Iran must abandon its nuclear ambitions. And then, of course, there were also issues with the fact that Israel must stop bombing Lebanon. For that matter, what's the name of the group? Hezbollah. The Hezbollah group. Of course, subsequently, Israel did that. And so there were hopes that there was going to be another round of talks to sort of finalize things. And then just a few days ago, Iran actually opened the strait. But interestingly, there was also some kind of a blockade, which was orchestrated by the American Navy. And then Iran says, well, we were under the impression that when we said that we were going to... yes. When we said that we were going to allow bygones to be bygones, we were under the impression that the blockade would be moved out or would be dealt with. Unfortunately, the blockade is still there. And so Iran says, well, until you take your Navy ships out of wherever you have put them, we are not interested in going to Pakistan for tomorrow's peace talks. Now, if you look at Al Jazeera today, this is what Al Jazeera reports. It said Pakistan is gearing up to host the second round of talks between the United States and Iran and is aimed at ending their war, but rising tensions in recent hours have cast uncertainty over Tehran's participation as the deadline nears for the end of the 2-week ceasefire. Unlike the first round of talks held in Islamabad on April 11, the upcoming negotiations could last for multiple days. Until a temporary deal, mediators are calling it a memorandum of understanding, is signed, effectively extending the ceasefire. Sources close to these efforts have told Al Jazeera if the MOU is agreed, it would have negotiators a longer window, even up to 60 days, to secure a longer peace deal. But all of that hinges on the participation of Iran, which, as of Monday morning, has not confirmed that it will be sending its negotiators to Islamabad. That follows a rapid escalation in tensions over the past 24 hours. U.S. President Donald Trump announced on Sunday that his representatives were heading to Pakistan for a second round of negotiations with Iran as a fragile ceasefire due to expire on Wednesday edges towards its deadline. But Trump accompanied his announcement with a revival of earlier pre-ceasefire threats to bomb Iran's energy and power facility. My representatives are going to Islamabad, Pakistan. They will be there tomorrow evening for negotiations, Trump wrote on Truth Social. He accused Iran of a total violation of our ceasefire agreement after Iranian boats fired on vessels in the Strait of Hormuz on Saturday, hitting ships including a French vessel and a British freighter. Now, we are offering a very fair and reasonable deal, and I hope they take it, because if they don't, the United States is going to knock out every single power plant and every single bridge in Iran. Trump wrote, "No more Mr. Nice Guy." That's according to Trump. Now, the tensions did not ease overnight. In the early hours of Monday, Trump announced on Truth Social that a U.S. Navy-guided missile destroyer Spruance had it's called a USS Spruance. It had intercepted an Iranian flat cargo ship, which is the Tuska, nearly 900 feet with 274 meters long in the Gulf of Oman after its crew refused to heed warnings to stop. Our Navy ship stopped them right in their tracks by blowing a hole in the engine room. U.S. Marines have now taken charge of the vessel, which Trump alleged was under U.S. Treasury sanctions for prior illegal activity. Iran has described the siege of the ship as piracy. Now, amid those military and social media exchanges between Iran and the United States, Pakistan has been busy getting ready to host talks that it, as the principal mediator between Washington and Tehran, hopes will yield a deal to end the war, now into its 8th week. Now, we also know that so the BBC this morning reported that the U.S. has attacked and seized the Iranian cargo ship attempting to get past its blockade of Iran's ports. So that's the other angle. But back home, as we do know, and that's where perhaps people like you, Duncan, will come in quite forcefully. Back home, government said, in view of what is happening with the Middle East crisis and its effect on its impact on crude oil prices, government ought to do something. And so government said that it had instructed the finance ministry and the energy ministry to come together, engage extensively, and arrive at something that would basically cushion the Ghanaian, the Ghanaian consumer. And so we saw that, and then it must have been last week, Friday or Thursday, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, the Minister of Government Communication, came out with a statement. And a statement stated that some measures have been taken. Now, the measures which had been taken, now I want us to look at this this article, which has been put together by my Joe Online. Now, it talks about the fact that it's a government fuel relief avoids immediate revenue hit, but puts OMCs under pressure. It said the government has reduced margins, not taxes in petrol and diesel, and that distinction matters. On April 15, 2026, the presidency announced that the government would absorb 2 cedis per litre on diesel and 36 pesos per litre on petrol for an initial 4-week period starting April 16 in response to rising global oil prices linked to tensions involving the United States, Israel, and Iran. A review is expected after May 16. Then can you help us appreciate what has government done? Break it down for the ordinary consumer to understand what the government has done. And from the look of things, is this policy intervention a sustainable one?
Good morning once again. And permit me to start off from the global perspective.
Sure,
because it's important.
That's fine.
You don't understand why certain things are the way they are. You might think that Ghana has a peculiar problem or a situation has been created by the Ghanaian situation. No. You recall earlier, before this three-nation war, the United States clearly had reason to go to Venezuela, for which Maduro had to be taken out.
Yeah.
If you read the energy reports globally, sometimes on oil price, indications you get is that, of course, there's a certain economic war, particularly between the United States and China. And then again, the formation of BRICS to also challenge the Western hegemony, led by, of course, the United States and Greater Europe. Once that happens and they start questioning the petrodollar situation, which says that in the early post-Second World War, there was an agreement between Washington and the Saudi royal, group that oil will be traded only in the dollar currency. And that would mean that anywhere there's an oil transaction, so between the White House and, of course, OPEC, oil will be traded in dollar. Then you get a thinking or a challenge that says that, no, we're not going to continue with this because initially America held something called the gold standard.
Yeah.
That said that every dollar printed, there's a backing of that in gold. And so if you wanted gold back, the American Treasury had gold reserves to back every dollar globally.
Yeah.
So people accepted the dollar as, a store of value. And then in the 70s, that was removed. The gold standard was removed. But the dollar still did not lose that gravity that it had globally, the respect. You fast forward to early 2000s, and the BRICS formation will now come to challenge petrodollar that says that we can trade in yuan, we can trade in the ruble, we can trade in euro for the same petro economics. If that happens, then the unipolar situation that says that America remains the superpower globally could be challenged, because what it means is that if you hold a dollar in Washington, it is as same value as a dollar in, let's say, Kaduna in Nigeria or anywhere in Iraq. So dollar should remain. So if you see Trump start with the trade wars, what he was seeking to do is to ensure that the gradual shift that China was coming onto the global market with, there's some containment, and that China will not be allowed to just put goods onto the American market without they paying some requisite taxes, which they call tariffs. And so 100%, 30%, 50, 150%, all of them. It looks as though that didn't achieve the intended, target. And so you now have to look at the global oil situation and go for the top two. I do not think that there was really a basis for this tri-national, conflict to begin with, but if you really probe deeper, it could only be that the oil situation is something somebody has to have control of. And so you look at what the United States did, was it March, took out Maduro, and then right after the tensions in Iran, Venezuela had the highest proven reserves on earth. And so once America has control of that, even though China and the allies had spent over 100 billion in investments in Venezuela, the United States had to come for them. Then we've come to Iran. Initially, you had conversations as they've been decapitated. Their nuclear program has been taken out. They don't have any navy. They don't have an air force. all their assets have been destroyed. So the thinking globally was that, okay, Iran may not have the firepower to push back. I don't know how they got that resistance, but they've been able to sustain themselves over the period. And that has had an effect on oil prices because the Strait of Hormuz, which is just about 21 kilometers off, Iranian border, is, almost under Iran's control. And once they decide to stop vessels from plying that route, what it means is that on a daily, about 20 million barrels of oil that would have had to come through to parts of Asia, some of which would also end up in Europe because Europe now buys from Asia.
Right.
It's now blocked. And so the oil flow is not as you had it prior to the tri-national conflict. And that would mean that if you do petroleum economics, they call something demand and supply.
Right.
How much the world market really would need to be able to run daily,
right,
and how much the world supplying nations are able to put out there on the market. If demand remains at 101 million barrels daily, and you take out 20 million barrels, the first 1 or 2 weeks, you would not feel the effect because before the war, there was already an oversupply, a glut, and there was enough.
Right.
So the market would adjust and adjust. If you stay this conflict for more than a month, the tendency for shortages to be recorded in certain parts of the world is very high. And so in parts of Asia, some of the countries now move from 5 working days to 4 working days because they needed to restrict mobility because the fuel is not coming as much as they would have wanted.
True.
Shortages had been reported even in parts of Europe. UK had its own fair share. In the Southern African, bloc,
right,
the likes of Kenya and SA came under some, heat because you are not getting the flow.
True.
As of Friday, the International Maritime Organization were clear in their minds that the Strait of Hormuz, that originally or normally, on a normal day, would have about 130 oil tankers go through. You now had about 1,600 tankers stuck.
Okay.
With oil running into hundreds of millions of barrels. So those are, cargoes that the global markets, the refineries across the world would have had to receive and process into petrol, diesel, kerosene, jet fuel, and all of them, so that you and I can also get to the pumps and get some. It's all stuck in one place. And so there's a supply suppression or restriction, and that means that what we would have gotten to be able to make the prices stable, we are not getting it. And that will mean that the little you have, much more money will be chasing it. It has affected Ghana. I have heard people say that, we don't buy from, the Gulf Cooperation countries. We don't buy from the Middle East directly. So why should a war there have any effect on Ghana? Because we buy from Europe. Look, when Russia-Ukraine happened, a lot of Europe placed sanctions on Russian cargo. And so instead of buying cargo, even gas, the Gazprom pipelines that were being constructed towards Europe all had to be halted. So they are not taking stock from Russia. Where they were taking a majority of their stock is India. India is getting almost all of its supply, about 40 to 55% from the GCC, right? So you are on a third leg. You are dependent on the Amsterdam, Rotterdam, region, the refineries there, to supply you very good oil or fuel. They would also, however, need to go to the Asian bloc to get a large stock of their supplies. If they are not getting as much, how can they give you as much?
True.
But we have been lucky. Over the period, the Atlantic route has still been very busy and buoyant, so they've brought us products. But it can only be but for some time. You know, for as long as they still have stock, as long as they still have feed coming in, they can only continue to supply the West African market. And that has seen prices go up. Again, International Maritime Organization will tell you that premiums or insurance on cargoes or tankers, ships that originally were sailing for about 60,000, you know, insurance premiums, you are now doing almost $2 million. And so once premiums go up, how much you would also pay because they are supplying you the oil from Europe, it would also go up. If you put those numbers together with the fact that international market price, IMP, has gone up, insurance premiums have gone up, premiums on the product or cargo itself have also gone up. What it would mean is that if they were supplying you originally at $35 premium or $60 premium, and it's now gone to almost $150, you know, there's a stretch per every metric ton. And that will transpose into how much you pay in Ghana because the product they are bringing is already expensive. The ship sailing, insurance on it is very expensive. And so it won't come cheap anymore. And that is why you saw pump prices in Ghana move from the 11, 12, maximum 13 to now as much as 17 plus, you know, within a 1 month period.
Right.
The only good thing that Ghana should pat yourselves on the back for is that through this process, the cedi still did not waver.
Right.
It did not lose as much gravity or gravitas, you know. If the cedi had also contributed to international benchmark pressures, together with premiums going up, we could have hit the 2021 long ago.
Right.
But the cedi has held its ground. And so one of the three factors that you pay for in Ghana, which has to do with one, taxes, two, international market prices or the benchmarks, three, the currency or forex exchange. One of the three, which is the forex, has been quite formidable.
Right.
So the only filter through or the net effect you've had in Ghana so far has had to do with international benchmark, rates.
Right.
At the start of the war, a lot of the benchmarks were trading finished products. I'm not talking about crude. They were trading petrol and diesel, say a metric ton, around $700, right? Now, it hit $1,300, $1,200 within that 1 month window. If you do the numbers, over 80%, increase. Thankfully, the cedi was not too bad. If the cedi had also contributed, you would have been seeing a lot more increases at the pumps. And so 2-3 weeks ago, we at Civil Society had the opportunity of meeting with the President of the Republic. And the conversation was spontaneous. One of the things I personally raised with the President was the issue of fuel pricing in Ghana and the need to pay attention, the need to also ensure that the gas processor too, that we promised Ghana gas, we would expedite it because currently one of the reasons why your electricity seems to be stable is because Ghana gas is working. And gas that originally, you recall NGAS, some time ago, you'll be here, Nigeria says you owe them $28 million, $40 million, $50 million. So they've shut off their valves, and then you sleep in darkness. Ghana gas seemed to have stepped in quite brilliantly. But you cannot continue to run on the single train. And so I also put that across, and Mr. President said there had been some oil commitments, with the international partners to the tune of over $2 billion. So they were going to ensure that the gas train too is also done. But for fuel pricing, he's going to work at it. And we were happy that he called the cabinet meeting, and then the directive was that the Finance and Energy Ministry should go and look at, reducing the cost burden on Ghanaians. Eventually what happened is this. If you look at the price build up today, the taxes have not been removed.
Right.
No. I think what government has gone in for is some reserves that it had, some monies that it had, that had been accumulated from some of the levies and margins that you and I had paid for already.
Okay.
And so if you listen to the Energy Ministry spokesperson, he says that for every 2 weeks, government was scheduled to lose about 200 million Ghana. So they had done their numbers analysis and had agreed that if some money had accrued to UPPF or some money had accrued to PDM or bust margin, there are some reserves sitting in those funds.
Okay.
Instead of removing the taxes on the price build-up or going down on them, so that another day they come to re-enact them or re-impose them. Don't forget, when you are coming to re-impose them, the same Ghanaian, including COPEC, will give you a pushback.
True.
So I think the crafty, ingenious way government could have gone about it is what they have done. We'll use some revenue accrued from some of the levies and margins that we had already collected to offset, the cost of our intervention, which is 2 cedi a litre for diesel that was selling higher. People have asked why diesel got 2 cedis.
Yes.
Petrol got 36 pesos. Diesel was across 17 Ghana cedis. Petrol was still 13 Ghana cedis. So on the balance of scales, people who are using diesel simply paying way more, not because they will or they want, but I have gone to buy a car or an engine that comes with a diesel. And simply because I have a diesel engine, I am paying 17 a litre. The one driving the petrol engine is paying 13. So the disparity was about 4 cedi. And government said, okay, I could absorb 2 of that. And then for you at petrol that is not so hard hit, maybe 36 pesos could offset something for you. I do applaud the energy minister, the finance minister. Very good job done. But Moro, that is not enough. Just the tax intervention is not enough.
We're not out of the woods yet.
We're not out of the woods. A lot more will need to be done.
Please pause there and let me bring in Dr. Zato on this matter. Doc, I know that you're also a follower. I mean, for somebody who teaches political science and also as somebody who put aside the fact that you're a lecturer, but you're somebody who likes seeking knowledge. And so no wonder you're a lecturer. I'm sure you've also been observing what's happening in the Middle East and how that is impacting on our lives here in Ghana and for that matter the rest of the world. What do you also see? What's your reading of what's happening? In fact, the talks are scheduled to happen tomorrow. And the ceasefire actually ends on Wednesday. And so tomorrow's talks, as you do know, are very crucial in deciding and determining what happens to all of us after Wednesday. Good question.
A very good job, an excellent job of trying to give us the outlay of the field. If you go beyond that and try to understand, every student of IR...
Doc, let me beg you. I've just been told that we're supposed to take a break because we don't want to interrupt it once we start flying.
Okay.
So you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. We'll take... yes, he plays in that sector. So he needed time to let our viewers understand, because the background is extremely important, so people understand why the things that are happening today are happening. So please stay with that. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television.
The ideal property shouldn't be a daunting task. At MNC Properties, we believe everyone deserves a place to call home. That's why we specialize in providing affordable housing options under our flagship project, Fresh Property Joy. Specifically designed for low and medium income earners. Our range of customizable homes includes 2 and 3 bedroom standard and executive options, all meticulously crafted using innovative interlocking brick technology. We understand the importance of simplicity and convenience in the acquisition process. That's why we have designed our procedures to be straightforward and hassle-free, offering flexible payment options tailored to your individual needs. In addition to our affordable homes, we proudly offer litigation-free lands for sale in vibrant and upscale communities that present the perfect opportunity to build your dream home. we are committed to making affordable housing a reality, providing you with the joy of owning a home that meets your budgets and aspirations. Whether you're looking to buy, rent, or invest, we've got you covered. Our service team is ready to assist you on 030-255-1917. MNC Properties.
Looking for comfort, convenience, and class all in one place? Welcome to Stay Easy Apartments on Conference Center, where modern living meets exceptional service. Whether you're staying for business or leisure, Stay Easy offers you a home away from home. Spacious and well-furnished apartments, pool, gym, and everything you need to relax and feel at ease. Planning a meeting, workshop, or special event? Our event ground and state-of-the-art conference center is designed to host your events and bring your vision to life. From corporate gatherings to private functions, we provide the perfect space, supported by modern equipment and a professional team ready to assist you. At Stay Easy, your comfort and success are our priority. Book your stay or reserve your space today. Call us at 020-739-1473 or 0244-226367. Stay Easy Apartments and Conference Center. Stay easy with us.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, that's
me didn't tum. Mr. Femi Kakalika, just call me cockroach.
Now, Mr. Femi once now.
Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the accent. Me did this sasso spray. Mr. Femi sasso quell. Yeah, come to my sasso.
Come tum preko.
It's time to believe in you. We are changing, so should you. If you're dreaming, don't be afraid. And in the valleys, keep your head up high. Dare to dream with Puma drinks. Puma. Yeah, believe it, you can achieve. Puma. Oh yeah, clap your hands for the whole new vibe. Make we set the bliss. Oh yeah, come alive. Let me hear you. Puma drinks, a whole new vibe. Another quality product from Casa Precon.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hey, Bunty, why you there? Well, lie, tell her today will give me my money.
Oh, my guy, what's up? Oba 17 and baby. Scan on ASA.
500 cities pay.
Ah.
I see. Level don't change. But to show me the way.
But there's some sorry, Manua. Talk to babe.
¿Quieres Ghana dinero?
Huh?
Cash.
Yes, cash.
Hwehwɛ kwan pa edubekɔ nkunimdie mu. Call wada.on.us na bi sign up. Ema ore mfi sɛ udi wo telephone number so ebeka ho uwie a. Afei, be games no emu. Hwehwɛ one short game. Fasika kume bi to ho. Afei, numbers are free 0 to 99. Yedie wakoma pe. Na obenya sikahyɛde free 50 Ghana cedis. Kopim 500 Ghana cedis.
Hey, so it be easy like that.
Just like that.
So I'll go buy my dream car.
Por supuesto. Just visit wannaown.us and win some cool cash prizes.
Baby, yes, baby.
Boom!
You need too much.
Play responsibly. Gaming can be addictive. Accredited and endorsed by the Gaming Commission of Ghana.
You're still watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My guests are still here. My name is Audu Moro, and with us is Duncan Amwa. Duncan Amwa is the Executive Secretary for the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, and also Dr. Joshua Jibunti Zato, who is a senior lecturer and a political analyst with the University of Ghana, Legon. We're trying to look at the Middle East crisis and how that is impacting on our lives here in Ghana, more specifically when it comes to do with petrol. And my guests have been trying to help us appreciate why you are having to pay a bit more, even though, how do you call it, some margins have been taking off. Even though petrol prices have been reviewed downwards. Doc, you were explaining something to us as far as your appreciation of the Middle East crisis is concerned.
An excellent job of trying to explain the distance. But there are certain issues that we as a country collectively we must also do and do very well. When this war started, this Israel-Iran war started, first it was about nuclear weapons. The fact that we get a nuclear weapon. So
the same thing with Iraq.
Forgive me. No, it's true.
Weapons of mass destruction. Yes.
Then that argument fell off. We died. Then it was about terrorism.
Yes.
That Iran was sponsoring Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas, so we should stop them. Then that thing too fell off. Then it was about regime change.
Yeah.
So the Americans and the Israelis quickly realized, okay, all we have to do is take off the head. In fact, for a very long time, there has been this argument from Sunni Muslims in the Gulf, not only America. Sometimes people think that this was just something between America and Israel.
Yeah.
A lot of the Sunni Muslims, led by Saudi Arabia, were also for this war. We must be able. That is why Iran started the asymmetrical war hitting them.
Yeah.
They all called for the head of the snake here being Ayatollah. So they thought that they could do what they did in Syria, in Iraq, in Libya.
Right.
Go in, sustain a bombing campaign, take off the head, the system will implode from within.
And it didn't.
It did not happen. The system proved more resilient and strong. Secondly, then they realized that sending the boots on the ground. Boots on the ground would have been suicide. It would have been suicide because Iran, unlike the others, is a country that's standing with about 1 million soldiers. It is well defended, even its geography and everything. That's so Iran is strong. So the narrative now changed. So from all these three things, what is pushing the war now has absolutely nothing to do with the original ideas of what Israel. In fact, there was even biblical reasoning behind that. That Israel thought that it should control the land that's given to them in the Bible. And so that land includes where Iran is. So the idea was that they have to move. That is why you see that Syria is crumbling, Iraq is crumbling, all of this. Move of that. All that has moved. And now it is about what? Money. So power. That is what is the problem. It's about money, it's about power. It's about petrodollar. And so the question now becomes, look, Iran did something smart. Iran was out-thinking both Israel and the United States that they didn't know.
Yeah.
It weaponized the Strait of Hormuz. Iran realized that when you bring the pain to people, they will talk.
Yeah.
If China meets the pain, China will talk. If India meets the pain, they will talk. And then, as they were doing it, as they were strategically outthinking the United States, they've come to realize that the solution to all of this passed through the Strait. They now met the salesman who is President Trump. Trump is a transactional leader.
Right.
He's not guided by any principles of any morals or any ethics. No. He tried to see where there's money. Quickly, Trump saw that there was money to be made at the Strait of Hormuz. So all of a sudden, he doesn't care about the nukes. He doesn't care about President Kawhi. He sees the money and says, no, we are not going to let only Iran make this money. So that's why everything has not come down. Because the question you ask is that somebody says since 1963, every U.S. president has considered bombing Iran, attacking Iran. They have all done that.
Yeah.
Israel has consistently lobbied every U.S. president from that time to bomb Iran. They have rejected it. And it's because they see this. It's because American intelligence tells them that this is how Iran will act.
Yeah.
Iran is a rational actor on that stage. They will do this. So the question that always comes from all of them is, what is your plan B?
Yeah.
Do you have an alternative to a straight door? You don't. So what do you do? And that is why they have restraint. That is why they've decided to solve it through diplomacy. And that is why I realized that when Obama signed the JCPOA with Iran, the strait kept closed. It's open. Everything was about that. Now my question is, as this is happening, what are we doing as a country? I see these two things as big policy windows. Both the Russia-Ukraine war and this current war as what? Two big policy windows. Policy windows are opportunities that emerge that sometimes offer policymakers an opportunity to make a decision, to make policy. Some of them are random, some of them are routine, some of them could just be as we have now here. But they are. As a country, how are we utilizing this policy window? That's the question we are doing. We have tried to move from crisis to crisis since this war started as a country, with absolutely no very comprehensive solution on what to do. When Russia-Ukraine happened, we saw it. Got a time, the government says, I'm going to give the whole burden to citizens, to consumers. Then they stabilized. And now it has happened. This government came inside. We're lucky. The forces stood. And you know what happens is that whenever there's a war like this, countries try to what? Rebel, to restructure, to find out how to move and get used to it. You see, why the Russia-Ukraine affected us so much was because the people, as I said, the people that were consuming that oil. So let's say they will shop at Kantamanto, and then they will leave the oil at Makwala for the rest of us. That was happening. So let's say Kantamanto was where Russia-Ukraine was happening. So the whole of Europe was shopping in Kantamanto. So they left the oil that was in Makwala for the rest of the world. The moment Russia-Ukraine happened and they cut off the oil to Kantamanto, they all moved to Makwala. And because they're the biggest spenders, it meant that we couldn't get. That was the whole idea. Today, a similar thing could be happening. He made a point. I hear the tankers are so slow in moving.
Yeah.
Almost like bicycles, literally. So what is now happening is that the oil that passed, I heard the Financial Times was the last batch of the oil that passed is now being what? Unloaded onto refineries. The problem is that there should have been a long pipe of ships following them. So the moment you offload and then there should be another long of ships also going the other way.
Yeah.
Problem is that there are thousands of ships on either side. Empty vessels here, they cannot go and load. Full vessels here, they cannot come and offload. And that's the problem. So once these last consignments are finished, we will not begin to see the actual problem. So that is actually the issue. Why it has happened like this? Because a lot of refineries were full. They are not getting empty. And the decisions that you are seeing happening, that's what is happening. Back home in Ghana, then what do we do? One, we have to demystify oil pricing and oil politics in Ghana. We haven't done that successfully. Yes, it is political, but we can make it non-partisan. There's a difference between let's not politicize something and let's make it partisan. Public policy is political. You can never say don't politicize it. It's political. It's public policy. That's also public policy. But you can.
In fact, Doc, let me even help you. We are, as Kwekubaku will always say, we are political animals.
Yes.
There's politics in everything.
It's in everything.
Religion, academia, everywhere.
Exactly.
Judiciary. There's politics in everything.
So
but a partisan is where the challenge
Look,
is. Yes.
One of the countries that is doing relatively better with this is Pakistan. That is because they decided to invest a lot in solar energies. So even though it's coming, they are doing it. So my point is that we have a Ministry of Oil and...
you mean Energy Ministry?
Energy and...
Green Transition.
Green Transition.
Yes.
Where is the Green Transition policy?
Right.
Sometimes a country, we are not prepared to witness a little bit of this. And where is the Green Transition policy? This is where we should have seen that. This is what we should have seen the minister announcing to us that, okay, government ministries, this is a policy that by the end of this year or next year, every government ministry should be able to supply their own fuel, 20% of their fuel with solar. This is what we need, because sometimes this is the necessity.
I think there's such a policy, but go ahead.
Good. So this is what we need. This is what we need you to say that for every hospital, for every school, for every distance, this is where you do that. This is when the government must come up and tell all the churches and the mosque, you use your system for just let's say 2 hours or 3 hours in a week, right? If you transition to solar, the government can give you inputs, credit inputs to transition to solar.
Yeah.
Because you don't use it all the time. Even in mosques, you don't use all the time in the 45 prayers. You could just do that. This is the time the government must now say we are going to lift the taxes on the importation of solar panels and make it free. And that if you are a company and you import solar, you can deduct it from your annual tax returns. In other words, where are the incentives to push the alternative fuels supply? We've not seen it. That's what I'm saying. That we can make it political but non-partisan. Where is the comprehensive policy that says that look, the government had decided that from now to the end of the year, if you import solar panels and you install them, you are going to be tax-free. The government can say that the solar panel companies in the country, the companies that are already here, we are giving you these tax-free holidays to do this.
Okay. Let me speaking about what policy interventions have been announced by the Energy Ministry to sort of to advance the green transition initiative by the government. Now, there's a story in Ghana Web. It says the Minister of Energy and Green Transition, Dr. John Abdullahi Jinapo, has announced that the government plans to procure 200 megawatts of battery energy storage to bolster electricity supply during periods of peak demand at night as part of efforts to expand Ghana's green energy capacity. Speaking in Parliament on Monday, March 16, 2026, Jinapo explained that the battery storage systems will be deployed across the country through a competitive procurement process to inject stored electricity into the national grid during high demand periods, particularly at night. And he says the minister notes that the initiative is part of a wider strategy to accelerate Ghana's transition to renewable and cleaner energy sources. Several programs have already been launched to support the green energy agenda outlined by President Mahama, including the National Energy Transition Framework, a revised renewable energy master plan, and the establishment of a renewable energy and green transition directorate, which is set to be upgraded into a renewable energy authority. He discloses that the creation of a renewable energy and green transition fund, there's going to be a fund mobilized to domestic resources, a fund to mobilize domestic resources and provide financial support for renewable energy projects. Ghana added about 80 megawatts of renewable energy capacity in 2025, mainly from solar power, bringing the country's total installed solar capacity to around 280. So there's something happening.
Yeah, what I'm saying that they're all lofty on paper.
Okay.
And as a country, we are good at that. We are good with coming
in
out
fact,
with
he said there's going to be a construction of solar parks that will serve as charging stations for electric vehicles with guidelines to regulate the establishment of charging points across the country.
Again, I'm not touching that. All look beautiful on paper. All look wonderful.
Okay.
The first quarter of the second year is almost over, right? We are going to the second quarter, right?
Right.
Look out for these solar parks. Look out for them. And you see, in this country, governments actually govern employment policies for 2 years.
Okay.
Especially when they're new governments, the first and the second years. That is when they do the difficult thing. That's when they implement the policies that are more challenging to them. By the time you go to the third year, we start talking about transitions.
Right.
And when you are doing transitions, you cannot make some of the most difficult decisions because they may involve going against yourself, your own government. And then you begin to see that heir apparents and people running for offices may then even begin to campaign against their own party policies. So you will see the seriousness of a government in the first 2 years because two things happen in the first 2 years. The opposition has been devastated. They are no more. Two, they have no leader. They have no message. So once they are devastated, and two, you are new. All CSOs, media, everybody is causing up to you because they're also trying to understand you. They are trying to see who is doing what. So that fertile period is when governments implement their most difficult policies.
Besides, that's your honeymoon period.
That's what I'm talking about.
Goodwill is still there.
Honeymoon is there.
Goodwill is there.
So you use that to report. So that by the time opposition is now up, by the time media CEOs are becoming critical, the policies have started bearing some fruit. So I'm saying that we have this policy big window. If all you are saying is to do, then we have the window from now to December to do that. Because by the time we go to next year, it will become difficult. The second thing I'm talking about is that let's now come back to we've not done a very good job of communicating to our people. What government's done, I've said it somewhere else, is to they like what we would call instant gratification when it comes to these issues. Fuel prices go up, then government says it's not our fault. It's external forces. Fuel prices come down, we did it. So you cannot want to take the glory and you don't want the pain. So what governments is trying to then do is that it's difficult, but it must happen. Tell people, look, there's this we can do. We can do this as a country. This is how far our policy can go. But then there are forces that are beyond us. So even in the good times, even the honeymoon times, that is actually when you should now start promoting these alternatives. Imagine every primary school. Look, primary schools, they go, every school, they go to school for a fixed period of time. They have a solar. They close and they go, it's off. Imagine every church in this country, give them incentives. They go for a short period of time. They leave. When you move most of these people to these sources, and then you now allow businesses like this that are 24 hours to now use power, we can save a lot. This is a difficult period for us to do that. So that's what I'm saying. The number one is demystified oil pricing. When you let people understand that, yes, in as much as the government is implementing purposive policies to do this, there's an aspect of it that is outside our control. We will do our part. We'll do our part to lower inflation. We'll do our part to keep the city stable. We'll do our part to transition. But certain things, unless and until we get discipline, if you explain and you communicate effectively to citizens, they will understand you. They will be with you during the hard times and during what? The good times.
But that's if the opposition would allow you to do that.
It's not the duty of the opposition to allow you or not to allow you.
Pure politics.
No, it is. That's what I'm saying.
Has become a part of us. Even though I would wish, honestly, that we stop pure politics.
No, we cannot stop. Again, it's politics. Man is a political and we cannot stop. Yeah. We can stop full partisanship, but even if we cannot, because there's ideology and philosophy.
Yeah, so fewer partisanship.
So what we can then do is that a government, you now have a duty to always communicate, to let people understand. That's the point I wanted to come. The second point I was trying to talk about is what the government has done now. Look, it's true that sometimes policy options are few. What is on the table? So now you look in your quiver and like, what options do I have? What policy do I have? So the government has latched onto something that I think for the short time is good for them. But you must then understand that, and they also understand, it's not sustainable. It will be in the interest of government, and we all will all be happy if this thing is done within the next 2 weeks. So by the next pricing cycle, if this issue is solved, he talked about insurance, yes. But sometimes the markets hate uncertainty. The markets want to, that's why you realize, literally, you can see the price up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
They want certainty. Even if you open the Strait today, some of the oil will take almost a month to get to refineries. But it doesn't matter, markets understand that. So far, the uncertainty is driving the prices high, and the uncertainty is making it difficult for people to invest. Insurance don't know what to put on it. So let's pray that if it doesn't, the next pricing window is going to be more challenging because these margins have been almost exhausted where you've gone to.
Yeah.
But the government is still trying to do something. They are not touching taxes because government is revenue. Yeah. Remember that higher oil prices means import bills are going to go up. Gold prices fell by almost $30 today. So gold is not doing very well too. Yeah. So governments needs the revenue. So governments and all of us Ghanaians have a duty to pray and to wish, and whatever lever we have with the international community, that this thing stops. Because if it moves to the end of April and the beginning of May pricing window, we may have nothing left there to go. My biggest worry too is not only oil, and that's what we are doing as a country too. We are putting all our eggs in the oil basket. What about fertilizer and farm inputs? Yeah. The farming season is about to begin in Tumusisalan and all over the north. In Techiman, all over the places, the farming is about to begin. Fertilizer prices. See, majority of it comes from there. What is our policy? How is government communicating this to farmers? And that's what I'm talking about, the strategic communication. What are we telling farmers that, listen, going down the line, government has some lofty plans with the Feed Ghana project to provide inputs, and one of the biggest is fertilizer. Well, where fertilizer comes from, this war. Where fertilizer comes, it may not come. So what do we do with those things? So we need an answer from the government to also say that, okay, going forward, fertilizer to be affected. Let the farmers know. And because it will be affected, this is our alternative. This is what we hope to do for you. Our initial plan was A, but because this is happening, we are moving to plan B. Do you have a plan B, Mr. Minister of Agric? Do you have plan B, Mr. Government? So that when it comes, we're not taken by surprise. So that is where I also need us to start looking at, because that is a very critical, important part. Once we do that, we're communicating very well. And I hope that whatever we do, we then begin to make sure that these things do, and the communication and the strategy, a national strategy rolled out and implemented fully will help. That is how I think that we can look at this. If not, we will focus only on oil, and then before you realize,
we're in trouble.
We're in trouble.
All right. Gentlemen, I want us to move on to a second topic.
But let me do a minute.
Just 1 minute, please do.
I think that when Doc indicated the need for government to diversify energy portfolio, I share in that totally.
Right.
Except to say that I'm aware, and clearly I was even part of the commissioning of some solar street lighting system, just to add to what you pulled out, the solar park.
Right.
I would encourage, again, that we pay more attention to that, because you have the economic advantage. The type of sun rays you are getting lately, Moro, I do not think that it is even prudent at this point to continue investing in thermal plants. And so I share that the Energy Ministry and Green Transitions should diversify completely. I personally run solar systems in my house.
Oh, okay.
And Moro, you can power your air conditioners if you want with them. I think that government should make a deliberate policy to make that, that whole thing affordable to the ordinary Ghanaian.
Right.
Bring down companies, give them, tax incentives, encourage them to make the product affordable to the teacher, a doctor in Tumu, right, who probably cannot depend on the grid because it's erratic. Sometimes it goes off transformer issues here and there. But once there's solar at home, they are good to go. I mean, they can go home and assure that a normal fan can at least work for them in the night. They will have some lights. They can charge their phones. Their fridges can still work. And so, whilst we discuss these things, I think that the national conversation again should gravitate towards the fact that a lot of Ghanaians would be better off if we could help make solar systems affordable. And we should also have a situation where the banks can also even afford to pre-finance a lot of things.
They need to pay
no, I completely. Because, look, the resource, a few months in the year...
You say some companies, so I'm coming back there.
I don't have a solar company. No. I have...
He said he has solar in his house.
Yes, I use them. I use the panels, I use the batteries. And for the past
even if you have a solar company, we should have it.
No, I don't.
If he does.
You see, I thought that you were carrying the issue, but you are jumping on it.
No, I'm saying he doesn't, but even if.
I do not. But I know the benefits that it gives. And I think that tomorrow,
you get him on this.
The mischief on that note,
let's move here.
I would thank here, but again, tomorrow, anytime you get the politicians to come back, they should make a commitment to that.
Exactly.
I have experienced it. It's nice. It's you can be assured of power. So when light goes off in my neighborhood, I still have light, and you don't hear the sound of genset and all polluting the environment with noise. Solar should be affordable to the Ghanaian, such that we should get to a point where if I have 5,000 cities, 3,000 cities, I'll be able to get some panels. The installation cost is deterrent.
It's crazy. Yes. That's what the test people.
We should continue to encourage them.
But can't you have a private person who says, well, if it's going to cost, say, 100,000 cities, I'm prepared to do it for, say, 5,000. But over, say, a period of time.
Yeah, but that's what I say. See, right now,
there's no deliberate government policy.
Exactly.
If government does that, even the banks can guarantee and pay for some of the workers. So that, for me, without solar initially, I was paying to ECG in excess of 4,000, 5,000 a month.
Let me just put it. Imagine government says, every government official staying in a government bungalow that we will give you this kind of guarantee.
Okay.
Especially within some rank. You can even start with the senior ones. Chief executives, deputy chief executives, deputy ministers, presidential advisors, chief executives, those big ones. And tell them, whatever government bungalow you are occupying, we will give you a guarantee, because government easily does that, to make sure that what's the name? Your house where you stay is solar.
It's off grid.
It's off grid. You. So you are a minister of energy. He himself now, the official bungalow is in that it's also made solar. Then the government can come with a plan where you pay for 4 years. Imagine how many bungalows all over this country we can quickly take off grid by the time you finish.
You save about 200 megawatts.
Then you can move down. and now make a similar policy for mid-level bureaucrats, that's government workers. If you are from the rank of this and the government says that we are giving you this guarantee and you can demonstrate that you have your own place. To buy solar, these are people that we can easily, with the incentives, also track the money and remove. What I'm saying, it has to be purposive. And purposive policy sometimes can be like a force. Because if that's the directive, and we say that you will live in the government quarters in Tumu, and now we say that we'll give you 2 years based on this incentive to solarize. If after 2 years you don't do it, then you can move when somebody comes to stay there. My point is, and then government offices. Some of the government offices across all the country are just one room or one flat. They can easily, so their policy.
You know what? Let me help. See, I have a company on the Spintex. Big. The good thing they have done, the roof. They decided to go for just the panels, especially for organizations that work through the day. By 5:36, they have closed and have gone home. You don't even need batteries to store, power. Once the panels are installed, there's an inverter in place. The big air conditioners they use, all the power. The panels generated directly.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's like a new technology, isn't it?
It is solar.
Oh, I mean, but I'm talking about the panels they're using. Because usually
I use panels.
Solar, you need the battery.
The batteries is only for when the sun is not available, because when
so it stores
the power.
Oh, the power.
And then in the evening when the sun is no longer giving power, then the batteries can now. So during the day when there's so much sun,
this is direct.
It's direct. And look, somebody showed me on his phone. He was consuming about 150 kilowatts, right? Only 2 kilowatts was coming from the grid. Imagine the savings. If the government agencies were deliberate, if the assemblies were deliberate, by 5:36 they are all gone.
They're all gone.
Right? If the assemblies decided, and as I speak with you, most of the panels, you can buy them for like 1,000, 1,200.
What prevents the government from saying that when you get your
district assembly, can we also look at taking the taxes off?
You should.
That's policy.
You should.
Now have to fashion a mechanism.
You should.
To make sure that when you take the taxes off the items, somebody doesn't go and sell them.
No, they shouldn't.
Moro, if you say our district assembly, for instance, should use, let me say, 0.5% of their common fund. I'm just, for example.
Move towards solar.
Get local people in your district to employ local people there to mount it and stuff like that. You've just, as he's saying, I mean, you don't even need batteries because you'll be using the power whilst you are there.
You don't need at all.
When you close at 5, the power goes off.
And the batteries are the most expensive part.
Yeah, but what if it rains for like a week continuously?
You see, listen.
Your problem is bigger than solar.
You see,
if it rains for more than a week, your problem is bigger than solar power.
So 4 weeks in a month. Take it that the weather is so bad, the panel cannot give you anything for the whole week. You can use grid. The other 3 weeks.
You don't go off the grid.
You don't go off. You're on the there's a grid system. But don't put pressure on the grid by also consuming so much. When you can simply install the panels,
we can start to
and go off the grid.
We can even start from Accra.
You see, you go to the energy ministry, there's some solar, installations done there.
Okay.
I wonder how many years it will need to take us to do same for the other ministries, other agencies, other departments.
It's taking too long.
It is cheaper. When you decide that I'm doing from the morning to like 6 p.m., the panels do not go off because it rained or something. No, it's photocell. So just a little brightness. It doesn't even need the sun's intensity so high to be able to give you power. Just a little brightness overhead.
And you have electricity.
And you have electricity, flowing. So I think that really we should be deliberate. Yes. We should be calculated. Government agencies, departments, and ministries, right?
It's taking off.
If you come down to the assemblies, I do not see why the assemblies themselves will not even be champions of solar.
Wow.
Look at agencies, look at National Theatre, International Conference Center.
Yes.
Some of these agencies, they are not in use throughout.
Is Jubilee on solar?
That's what I was coming to. So you can put Jubilee.
I think they do have some amount of it.
Imagine you put the whole of Jubilee, the whole of Parliament House, and the whole of Supreme Court.
Yes.
3 hours of government. Imagine the all transition.
Into solar.
And then they say that we are starting the process from the head. So that from now onwards, we know that Parliament, Jubilee House and Supreme Court are all under. So then they begin to tell others, like the same thing. The court
during the day, you save.
Say you tell the court, because some of the courts, again, we are
much.
talking about agencies that do not work overnight. Some of the courts sit from morning till when they close. You don't need panels. And then you put, that's what we're talking about, purposive policy. Purposive mean here, we are saying that you are intentionally going to do this. And we are going to use the power of the state, of taxations, of incentives, to compel or to force you to do it. If every government, occupant of every government bungalow, which goes panel, if all government offices all over the country were to transition to this, and you see, you don't need to do it all at once this year. You can say that we want you to start with 20%. Every year, add 10%, add this.
That is even too high. You'll be doing it 5%, 5%. At the end of 10 years, 50%.
But just make sure that every year,
you know,
when we do an audit, the audit can show that you are adding this power to you. Then the initial cost is cushioned, and then you do it. That also becomes a major role for ministers, for chief executives, and for other people. So you are chief executives of NPA, you are the chief executive for VRA, you are the chief executive of Ghana Commercial Bank. Part of how we measure your annual performance is say, how much energy have you transitioned? You are chief director of the Ministry of Work and Housing. How much energy? This becomes key KPIs that we can then use to say that for your next promotion, you deserve it. And because these are difficult, this means commitment, it will help us to move there.
But this sounds like a no-brainer. However, you know what even makes this more urgent? Governments upon governments have struggled to pay the electricity bills of these institutions.
That's how you transition.
Bro, and you see,
if they show you the
bills,
indebtedness.
yes. Bro, you see, imagine a company as huge consuming 150 kilowatts an hour. Imagine the stress they will put on the grid, right? If they had not gone for the panels.
Yeah.
And like I said, the panels are relatively cheaper. If one is 1,200, so 12,000, you have 10 already. If you decided to do 100 over this building, the power you would receive, you cannot even consume.
Too much power.
Too much power. And during the day, ECG has got a program they call the net metering, the net off, right? If you are producing, let's say, 100 kilowatts, right, and you are only consuming 70, the 30 could feed into the grid for others that may have a need for them to use it. So it goes through the grid. There's a reverse, cycle. ECG can afford to pay you off for that power you have generated. But what you have generated is now cleaner, it's quieter. Unlike the generator sets that you need to fuel with the fossilized fuel and the noise, the environmental pollution, everything, right? Solar is quiet. You don't even hear,
okay.
Everything works. And so I think that a fallout from this Monday, really, whilst we think of the Strait of Hormuz, we think of the hydrocarbon resource, we think of, getting things to come through.
Yeah.
The solar farms become important. We brought some electric buses. I am thinking that even going forward, we should be deliberate with the car manufacturing companies to give us solar roofs.
Yeah.
A lot of them come with electric.
The current buses that came, I don't know what the ones that just came.
Yes.
Again, that's what we're talking about purposive government. You could simply say that.
They're petrol. They're not.
Europe,
it's not even E.
Exactly. But Europe will tilt towards the electric, the e-buses, because they are not blessed with the type of sun energy you have in our part of the. So the climatic conditions are different. So we should even approach these automakers
more aggressively
and insist that for a big bus, the whole roof, if you panel it, right, and you have a motorized system that, transmits the power to, the engine and whatever components, you should be able to move these buses in the night, park them, don't worry.
There are some few ones in the system. I think the former government brought some few
ones.
But
solar still it gives you cheaper, because if I can move the bus from, say, Medina, right, to Circle, for almost zero expenditure, because I'm getting the sun power.
Right.
Free.
So whereas government may not be, and I'm just guessing, whereas government may not
transport fares.
Excited about doing this, because if all of us start moving to solar, government won't make money.
How would it not make money?
We're going to make money from selling power to us.
Government is rather losing money through power.
Through power.
You know how much subventions we need to put in every now and then? You would wake up and the IPP say we owe them.
So then it's
running
it is
into
rather in
millions.
their interest.
Yes.
It is in everybody's interest.
Because not everybody can use solar. Remember, some companies can use solar. So they also
yes. But those who will be on electricity, what it will mean is that government will not need to commit 10% annually to expanding the grid. Because at the current rate of expansion, people are building new houses, new factories are coming up, the economy is expanding. You would need to plan for power. And that means that you may end up with thermal, because the hydro that we have, the Bui and the Akosombo, they seem, elastic. You cannot go beyond what they can generate.
And so when you look at the economics of demand and supply, if a lot more of us get onto the solar grid, and assuming that ECG has more power to supply than we're demanding, they'll be forced to bring the prices down.
They'll be forced to bring it down.
Because the demand will be low.
Totally. And then again, the triggers that ensures that transformer is gone off. Sometimes it's the pressure.
It's the load.
The network load.
I agree with you.
So if you can reduce the load, there could be some sustainability, there could be some predictability.
You know why it's not happening? Let me tell you, some of these issues, the initial cost, the entry cost of it will be high.
Yes.
And so the problem then governments, and sometimes these are investments, let's say investment into the future.
Yeah.
Again, I come back to the point I started with. Governments are not so concerned about investment in the future. They want instant gratification. They want you to see it right now. So if the investment is going to come tomorrow next, maybe the next guy coming might enjoy that. So that's the problem. That from political perspective, that is it. Once you cannot instantly see it, government becomes a little bit hesitant. And so that's what I'm saying, that if we move the discussion from partisan to political, and then we now make it a national policy, like this is I'm saying. If you decree or legislate or even make people look from now onwards, every occupier of government bank will do this, then it transcends whosoever is coming.
I get it.
Right? If you now have a discussion with Ghana Commercial Bank to say that for the occupants of this government bungalows, right, you can take this loan from Ghana Commercial Bank based on discussions with, let's say, Ministry of Energy and the government, and it's going to be this amount of money for you to retrofit your own this thing. Those things can transcend parties.
You see,
and
but
governments,
more
and they'll help.
finally, I am happy that we are still having this discussion.
Yeah.
Look, one of the things that I would implore the Energy Ministry to fast track.
Yeah.
I know they have a program to ensure that there's solar for secondary schools and some tertiary institutions and public hospitals. Tomorrow, there was a news report this weekend that said one of the regional hospitals in the Western, people were undergoing surgery. Power is off. Wow. Generator sets that should have come on automatically is also not working. And I say to myself, gracious me, 21st century. A hospital could have simply had the roof, reprogrammed.
That's it.
Or not the whole hospital, even just the theater.
Just the theater.
I'm saying, the critical, you would provide so much power. Yet, look, we are waiting on a generator. Fossilized fuel. The grid. Thermal, fossilized fuel. When you have the sun energy going for waste, and somebody was scheduled to come for a surgery, was told not to eat from the morning. It's 2 p.m. The person has still not eaten because the power system is out. Those who went into theater have not, even been completed. And so that is how bad we treat the system. I think that if there's any legacy this energy minister, as young as he is, could leave for Ghanaians, he should focus really. Get all the central hospitals, get all the important medical facilities, on some amount of solar power, that they can at least be sufficient in their surgical, and their emergency wards, without necessarily always depending on a trip, a transformer, we are doing maintenance, whether DUMSO or no DUMSO or DUMCAC, whatever the terms they give to it. If you had a reliable solar backup, there would be some work done and people's lives would be saved.
Makes a lot of sense. All right, so the two of you, I want us to move to another topic, which has also been reported by some of the papers today. Now, the two of you are here because you have a quo warranto to be here. You have the full authority of, I'm sure, whether it's your family or your organization, in your case. I'm sure that University of Ghana Legon doesn't have a problem with that. You have the full authority of them to be on the platform, on this platform. Apparently, all this while, from 2018, our special prosecutor didn't have that quo warranto. He didn't have the authority of the Attorney General to go about its prosecutions. So they have not been as lucky as the two of you here. Now, how did this come up? Because there's a gentleman called Hyde who has been prosecuted by the special prosecutor who, began to ask himself the fundamental question, but you, special prosecutor, do you even have the authority to prosecute me without the authority of the Attorney General? And so he took the matter to a court. And when he went to the court, there was a high court, he went there, but one of the high courts says, hold on, because there's already a matter like that before the Supreme Court. And so this gentleman was also expecting the office of the special prosecutor to hold on, to stay at the action. But the office didn't do that. It had continued with his prosecution. It's okay. If you want to continue to prosecute me, then I will also continue to go to the courts to get this, to get an answer on this question that has been lingering on his mind. And so he went to another court, and that court delivered a judgment. Now, the judgment has become a subject of, public discussion. But in all of this, and that's the law side of things, but also the political side of it. I mean, none of us here is a lawyer, so I'm sure that we didn't delve too much into the legality or the legalese of the matter. We'll deal more with perhaps the socio-political aspect of things. Socio-political in terms of society and what the perception is out there and so on. And so the politics in terms of what the MPP say, NDC, what the NDC is saying, what the civil society organization are also saying. Now, there are two personalities who have actually waded into this matter. There's quite a number of them, but I'm just going to settle on two. One of them is Professor Michael Quay, who says he totally. Now, first, of course, we do know that Professor Michael Quay is. He's one of the, he's one of the. What do you call it? One of the renowned lawyers in this country. He's also a former Speaker of Parliament.
Law lecturer.
Exactly, a law lecturer as well. And then also our own former Attorney General, Godfred Dami, has also waded into not this matter directly, but he is generally concerned about what he terms as judicial bias. He thinks that some of the he thinks that some of the judges are behaving as though they have some master they are listening to. And then you also have Martin Amidou, who is a former, a former occupant, occupant of that seat, which is former special prosecutor and also, of course, a former Attorney General, who has waded into this matter. I want us to look at how the Daily Guide captures it. Now, he says the AG and the OSP relationship has been broken beyond repair. Now, Jibril Abdulrazak is reporting the former special prosecutor, Martin Amidou, has waded into the seeming feud between the Office of the Attorney General and prosecutorial powers of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, warning that the relationship between the two state institutions under this government appears to have broken down beyond repair. According to him, the Special Prosecutor and Attorney General, as presently constituted, cannot coexist effectively in the fight against corruption. Mr. Amidou's comments follow a recent application for extension of time, which has been granted, and a proposed statement of case filed by the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Justice Shremshai Sai, in response to a writ challenging the prosecutorial powers of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. The plaintiff is called Noan Ephraim Tete Adamte, is seeking, among others, a declaration that upon true and proper interpretation of Articles 1, 88, 93, 2, and 296 of the 1992 Constitution, prosecutorial authority in Ghana is vested exclusively in the Attorney General and cannot be exercised independently of or in parallel with the Attorney General. Now, he says that Attorney General's proposed statement of case basically sides with the position taken by the plaintiff, as the difference is challenging Parliament's decision to delegate the Attorney General's prosecutorial powers to the OSP, arguing it is unconstitutional. He also goes ahead to say the Attorney General is asking the Supreme Court to declare Section 4.2 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, Act 959, unconstitutional and consequently struck down. Mr. Amidu, in his latest legal commentary, is concerned that the Attorney General's response to the writ does not appear to take a neutral position on the matter and assist the Supreme Court to address the issue substantially, but rather aligns with the plaintiff's case. According to the Attorney General's statement of case contains contradictory submissions, misrepresentations of fact or law, which any experienced practitioner of constitutional law appearing as an interested party may bring to the attention of the court. He further notes that the Attorney General, as officer of the court, is expected to assist in the administration of justice without fear and favor. He says one would therefore expect the Attorney General's statement of case to objectively and impartially address the implications of the nomination of the special prosecutor by the Attorney General for appointment by the President and its effect on prosecutorial powers under the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 217, which is Act 995 now. So we have known this all the while from 2018. In fact, and I say we've known this because this matter is not entirely new. I recall when when Kissi Jabin appeared before the Appointments Committee during his vetting, it was a matter Mahama Yariga asked, and it was also a matter which was asked by must have been James Agalga, the two of them. They asked about what appears to be a clash, a conflict between 88 and Article 4 of the 19th of the Act that established the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And the fundamental question being asked whether the two of them can coexist. Okay, so for some people, the chickens have only come home to roost because some people foretold that this day will come. You know, because you cannot in one breath say the Constitution says only one person who has the prosecutorial powers. In the next, and that person only person who has the co-warranto to say, you do this on my behalf, either through an executive instrument or through a fiat. And then at the same time, you're saying the person is independent. So what is the definition of that independence? When I gave you the authority, or I give you the powers to prosecute. So those are the matters in dispute now as we speak. So you stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana. Please don't go anywhere.
Manasseh Azuri Awini release, which showed that Kissi Jabin began investigating the Ofuriatta matter after, that's SML, only after Ofuriatta had fled from Ghana. And Kissi Jabin had a prior relationship with Ofuriatta. They have a working relationship. Kissi Jabin once worked for Ofuriatta. He can't run away from those conflicts. So what we've learned so far quickly is that, yes, you can pass a beautiful law on paper, but when you put somebody in charge and the person has conflict of interest in terms of people who are to be investigated, prosecuted, etc., the beautiful law comes to nothing. So that's why, for me, this ruling is sweet because it's brought the conversation back. So how do we strengthen the Office of Special Prosecutor Law? It can never be 100% perfect, even when we are men. But then, this short while we've operated, we've seen the loopholes that, the Special Prosecutor can favor his friends, his party people, his family people. So what will we do in an amendment to block those loopholes? Because right now, the law is not fit for purpose.
Should I feel frustrated and resign? In my life, when I take on the reins to do something, I do it to the best of my ability. Say I'm a unquanoma. Me de me cry abo afore. Me ye de me to me. Emre so a ekọ.
Grab your bottle and unleash the taste of Storm Energy Drink. A bold flavor, a big attitude, feel the vibe, own the moment. It's your time to be different. Storm Energy Drink, make your mark. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health, not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advert is FDA approved.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I want fat missy way.
The patch of bantama.
Matias.
It's her smile. The fresh breath.
Me Gidi say we use Kel 360 toothpaste.
Some kind. Kel 360 toothpaste.
Gaskia, Kel 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasan.
Ile ko saying. Kel 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
Hey, you will see so feeling when you know Cal 360 toothpaste. Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Wabedum tamaso. Hey, J. Watch it, na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Makwema besisia. Abozege. Akache say no ya konate and the more drink woman. Hey. But I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old days. Eji. Dabio, baby wom. Ready? Hey, baby wom. Ah, Eji. I'll cause some discomfort. Ah. Sorry, well, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral? At to phone for Aerofield Trading. Sorry, it killed them all.
No mum share Nanda Daya was mosquito call is to do woman. Na say spray with them musa. Try sima a dronum and sana ko dynamo.
And Kratoi FDA Ajatum.
If you haven't seen it, I can forward to you. You saw the Diary of Action Manasseh Azuri Awuni release, which showed that Kisi Ejabin began investigating the Ofuriata matter after, that's SML, only after Ofuriata had fled from Ghana. And Kisi Ejabin had a prior relationship with Ofuriata. They have a working relationship. Kisi Ejabin once worked for Ofuriata. He can't run away from those conflicts. So what we've learned so far quickly is that, yes, you can pass a beautiful law on paper, but when you put somebody in charge and the person has conflict of interest in terms of people who are to be investigated, prosecuted, etc., the beautiful law comes to nothing. So that's why, for me, this ruling is sweet, because it's brought the conversation back. So how do we strengthen the Office of Special Prosecutor Law? It can never be 100% perfect, even when we are men. But then, this short while we've operated, we've seen the loopholes that, oh, okay, the special prosecutor can favor his friends, his party people, his family people. So what will we do in an amendment to block those loopholes? Because right now, the law is not fit for purpose.
Should I feel frustrated and resign? In my life, when I take on the reins to do something, I do it to the best of my ability. They say I'm a unquanoma. Me de me cry about for it. Me yet dear me to me. I'm reswa. Echo.
All right, so you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. The show is also live on 94.1 FM. My name is Audumoro. I'm here with Dr. Joshua Jebuntie Zato, who is a lecturer in political science and also a political analyst. He is a staff, an employee of the University of Ghana, Legon. And also he has Duncan Amwa, who is the CEO of Petroleum Consumers, Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. So both of them are here. They're not partisans. They may be political, but they're not partisans, expressing their thoughts on some of the stories that the papers and the online portals have published today. Now, you know, we spoke about solar the whole solar regime, solar power regime. Now, some of Brian Boabing has sent a very interesting message here. It says that the government of President Akufo-Addo constructed a solar power system at Jubilee House, which also doubles as a car park, as well as the Ministry of Energy. I hope the current government will take a cue from this initiative and expand similar projects across government agencies, military barracks, police barracks, and prisons. Corrupt individuals cannot fight corruption. Cats do not guard fish. Ghanaians deserve a special prosecutor of impeccable integrity and unquestionable impartiality. We're not interested in any Aquanoma business. Some of Brian Boabin sent that message. Now, Carlos Mododo says, respect, your Monday program seems to put the NDC at a disadvantage. I know this may not be your personal doing, but rather an issue of program management. Why am I saying this? For quite some time now, it says for quite some time now, it appears that the NDC has been placed at a disadvantage because many of the people brought in as neutrals are in reality affiliated with the MPP. Some are well-known party members, while others have contested parliamentary positions on the MPP ticket. Yet such people are presented as neutrals and allowed to speak against the government. That is a balance. That's the imbalance I am referring to. But I believe this issue should be reviewed carefully. As viewers, we are smart enough to recognize when someone presented as a neutral is not truly neutral. Please, Metro TV should take another look at this matter and ensure fairness and genuine balance in these discussions. Carlos, and I say God bless you. Carlos, okay, well noted. Well noted. Carlos would look at that. And he sends me a picture of Dr. Zato in wearing some things. You know, when we invite people on the show, to be honest with you, we don't look at whether the person, especially for Mondays, whether the person has some affiliation necessarily with any political party or not. We look at the person's views and opinions on issues. You see, the fact of the matter is that everybody belongs somewhere, or almost everybody belongs to somewhere. That's a fact of life. But when the production team is deciding on who to bring, we don't look at, so you see, there are politicians who will always wear party t-shirts. You see them on stages, they're campaigning and they say, me, I'm MPP, me, I'm NDC, and so on and so forth. Those ones, I get it. But if somebody has some sympathies for a political tradition, but also with time exhibited or demonstrated that they can speak their mind, we don't mind if the person appears on the show. I mean, that person is a moderate, that's fine. Do you get it? So, Carlos, please bear with us. I mean, if you took someone like Dr. Zato, yes, he appears to be criticizing the government more, but I've also heard him a few times when he's spoken his mind independently on an issue. And so there's no mischief intended as far as this is concerned. If you look at Duncan Amoah, yes, you may say that he's been, by and large, he's been, defending this government, but he's also spoken his mind. In fact, there have been times when he's been very critical of this government as well. Take the likes of Senyo Husi, the likes of Kabila, and I can give you a host of them. So it's not necessarily whether you're NDC or MPP per se, but what do you say? What kinds of opinion do you express? What your viewpoint and so on. Those are the things we look at more. Otherwise, we won't get anybody to sit on this platform. Because anybody who comes here, you can easily trace the person's connection to some political party or the other, and that becomes a problem. We're not going to have anybody on Monday, so please bear with us. But all the same, you're a viewer, you have expressed your consent. What we don't want to do is to fight you because you are consuming the product that we're churning out. We don't want to be. We don't want to put we don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we're saying what you're saying is excuse my language. Is something is irrelevant. We don't want to do that. We'll take your concerns, but we also have a responsibility of explaining to you how we arrive at who to appear on the show. So it's no malice intended at all. I mean, Dr. Zato can tell you if he's MPP, you say, well, I have sympathies for the MPP, but I speak my mind as well. My mind has not been bought. I'm not been totally compromised. Duncan Amoah can tell you that I have sympathies for the NDC, but I just speak my mind. I express my mind independently. So those are the kinds of things that we do here. I beg you. It's no mischief intended at all. No ill motive, okay? If we notice that consistently somebody comes here and you're defending one political party or the other, then you can see that there's been a certain pattern. And so we may have to review the person's appearance on the show. Or the person may have to come and say, well, listen, I sympathize or I hobnob with this political tradition, but I'm not here on the ticket of that political party, and so I can speak my mind. That's also acceptable. Okay, so please bear with us. Bear with us, Carlos. Carlos is a very good friend of mine. He's like a big brother to me. Carlos, you know, no, I mean, you know me. I won't. Yeah, find out. I won't do anything that would make you, because we value you. Without you, we don't have a show. Okay. Anyway. Mancha says, I'm surprised that the NDC government, which benefited from the outcomes of the work of the Office of the Special Prosecutor whilst in opposition, is now taking precipitous steps to dismantle the said office. Reset, indeed, amazing convictions. Mancha Bruce II from Takrad. Mancha, good to hear from you. So, like I said, there's the law side of this and there's the politics side of this. So, Doc, what do you make of what's happening with the relationship between the Office of the Special Prosecutor and that of the Attorney General? And the optics that is all of this is playing out.
Thank you very much. See, this is all about nothing. And I must say, this drama is shameless. Because there are certain things, there are important things that we need to do. There is consensus over the most of the things that we are talking about. There's huge consensus across all political divides about the importance of this office. One, there's consensus that this office is good and should stay. There's consensus that we need an independent organization with such powers, the powers to fight corruption. There is that consensus. So I want us to proceed from there. This year, the Transparency International came out with their annual corruption perception. Ghana only moved 1%, one up. If you read part of the reasons that Transparency gave, it was because Transparency agreed or reported that there are purposive efforts to dismantle or to weaken independent anti-corruption agencies. That was part of what they said. And this is part of it. It was at the site where that parliament, the majority leader and others were threatening to yank the special prosecutor. It was a point that it was seen that Kezia Jaben was under siege. So that was what was happening. That was the message that Transparency saw, that this message from the government seemed to want to purposefully weaken an anti-corruption agency. And that was how we didn't do it. These things are still happening. So it may also affect our corruption perception index. So let's look at what is the real issue. One, corruption in every country is fought by what's called, you need political commitment, government commitment. You can put the best laws in the world. You can put the best institution in the world. The only ingredient, the most important and significant ingredient missing in the fight against corruption anywhere in the world is political commitment. Political commitment, because the state is only the state that has the power, both investigative, prosecutorial, and then later confinement, punishment, to detect corruption. So countries that have done very well when it comes to corruption is because that commitment has been shown that we will do it and we will punish it. These things we are doing to the OSP is chipping away at that political commitment. People will see, that's what I'm saying, that Transparency cited it. I said, why is it that, why do we seem to be fighting an agency that is fighting corruption? So for me, one, that's the first thing we are doing to ourselves. We are trying to score an own goal here by doing this, because by doing this, we are moving the OSP from the sphere of public policy of anti-corruption or prosecutorial to the usual partisan NPP ADC debate. Once you do that, you are depriving it of that powerful unity around a common cause to fight corruption. We are denying that office that. When we do that, we are the losers. Because international agencies and others will always side us as they have already done. That's the first thing. So it's chipping away that political commitment. Two, that's what there's consensus.
But sorry, Doc. Isn't part of political commitment also to see the manifestation of the rule of law? Isn't that also part of a political commitment?
That's the second thing I'm going.
Yes.
Look, again, let's discuss this dispassionately.
Okay.
There's Parliament. And Parliament, we saw that Parliament is not in support of this office.
Okay.
There's evidence. There were moves to come up with a decent policy to abolish it. So that is why when you add it, majority, the ruling government owns 2/3 of Parliament, or controls 2/3 of Parliament. It had to take the intervention of the president himself to stop Parliament from doing what they wanted to do. So my point is that Today, Parliament can be summoned back. As I'm saying, they can do that. Today, the same Parliament with the 2/3 majority and with the minority can go to Parliament and say, let's amend this bill. I don't know the nitty-gritty, but I think Parliament can do it. Or I don't know whether it's one of those that it's not an entrenched.
It's not.
So they
88
can,
is entrenched.
88
no, he's not talking about 88. He's talking about the act that establishes the office of the special prosecutor, right?
Yeah, yes. Or whatever you have to
they
do.
can only repeal it.
You can.
You can. No, they can be amended. 959 can be amended. Can be amended. It can be reviewed.
To now work against 88. Because 88.
Well, no, that's not his point.
I'm saying is that
it can be tweaked.
Whatever you can
to achieve whatever objective is another matter.
Whatever objective that we are trying to say. I can just say, can we say that authorization from the AG is implied? Is there a way to write it in? What I'm saying is that Parliament can do that. They can do that today. They can be summoned today. That summoning will show political commitment. We've seen bills pass through even this lopsided house through state of emergency. Again, it speaks of what? Commitment. So here the optics will look good. Even if it's just optics, that look, a big issue has come up. Parliament, let's come back from our Easter break. Easter is gone. And say, hey, how do we protect this office? It does well in our international standing. It does well in saying that we have, let me say, a defective organization that has a good mandate, that has good intentions. We are committed to do whatever it takes to protect that office and make it work. That is the message you have been sending.
I have bad news for you. Under the circumstances, Parliament is helpless. Parliament has done what it ought to do.
Parliament is what?
Or Parliament has done what it ought to do.
Yes. No, but you mean that there's
nothing
else they can do? No, they cannot amend 88?
No, because you see, 88
is
an entrenched.
Entrenched, you can also, you mean once something is entrenched. Yes. Exactly, but the process has to start somewhere.
Yes.
Two, let's also go back to this point. Can't Parliament then say that we can come out with a way to make sure that this is, again, implied this is given, so that the Attorney General is done. Let's go back, let's move to the third point I'm saying. Who benefits from this? The scenario we've just created, who benefits from it?
The citizens.
Right now, as we sit down here, no, it's not the citizens.
Because it's a citizen who took the matter to court. Have you forgotten?
The Attorney General, that office is currently prosecuting people.
Yes.
The amount of money the office is trying to recoup is in excess of billions of cedis, if not those.
Yes.
That is what the state stands to run. That is fighting corruption. So one, the office is doing what it set out to do. It is working. The number of people under investigation and the number that are actually standing corruption, if they gain convictions and if they make the money, the country will be better off. It will equal oral. I see that there should be a commitment to say that what oral stood for as an idea, as a principle, and what the OSP is doing are complementary. That in order to make oral achieve its objectives, then we need to make sure that the office of the OSP and OJ are working hand in hand. And they're doing that because the amount of money, if you just look at some of the investigations they are doing and the prosecution, they can do this. Any attempt, therefore, to weaken OSP is an attempt to render oral useless.
Yeah, but you see,
any attempt to do that, you're also doing.
No, I think it's important that we place this conversation in its proper context or perspective. Help me understand how a Ghanaian who is being prosecuted by the office of the special prosecutor then says that, okay, whilst we even delve into the substantive issue as to whether I'm guilty or innocent, I want to go to the court and test whether indeed you, this office, okay, have the powers or the authority to prosecute me as given by the Attorney General's office. That's a Ghanaian. An individual has a right to go to court. Okay. Now, help me understand how this right, which has been exercised by a Ghanaian, how does that mean that the state intends to weaken another state institution? I'm trying to get the next.
No, I just say in state by actions and inactions. I've said if you go back, that's what I'm saying. That let's not ignore the history of attempts to even completely close the office by the majority in Parliament.
How does it come in?
No, it comes in because all these attempts. We've all said that if you take this power, it remains a husk.
Right.
It doesn't. It is of no use. The same thing would have happened if the bill had been passed in Parliament. Both of them would have rendered it into it ceases to exist. So that's what I'm saying. That when you see that, and that is what Transparency International or those were the things they read, and that was the conclusion they came to, and that affected our standing. So you see, I'm drawing a link here, but I'm saying right now, look, how do we make sure? And I'm saying who benefits from these things? The people that are being investigated, the same people that we think that they are doing corruption.
Okay.
If this multi-million dollars, if no cities, is recouped, the states get better. It also serves as a warrant or a warning to people who intend to be. A powerful OSP is a threat to those in power. Let's put it that, because our corruption targets public office holders.
Yeah, but nothing stops the OSP from proceeding to do what they want to do.
And then do what? Then go back to the same Attorney General.
All you
so
need to
we
do.
are going back to what we're saying. But then, if somebody gives it, the person can take it back.
Yeah, but whose fault is it?
Good. Policymakers. I would say policymakers. Yes. Good. Now, so again, then let the same policymakers find a solution. I want to go back to the third point. Today. Then I think what we should do is this.
Yes.
Why can't the Attorney General or the OSP write to the Attorney General and say get a license and then start these prosecutions? The OSP feels that if they do that, the idea of neutrality is compromised.
I agree.
The idea today, and now support that, because if the central idea is that let's move away from politicians, let's get somebody neutral, how do they fix it? I believe that there is a way to make sure that even if it means dangling with, look, I will not move away from it. If it means dealing with that entrenched clause, even if it means it is a referendum, because that is when sometimes we then got to test whether Ghanaians are really resolved to fighting corruption. The government can and should lead this. Even if it means saying that, look, we have a stumbling because there's a consensus. CSOs, media, independent organization. Let me say government and opposition, we all agree that office is important and critical. If there is that consensus, what prevents the government from saying, okay, if Article 88 is the stumbling block, let's tackle it. Let's, what's the name? Let's do it. It doesn't matter what it will take. If it's a referendum, it also shows a counter result against something. We will not do that because, you see, sometimes we conflate the office with the office holder. And right now, we are conflating the office with Kisi Ajabeng. And there's so much vitriol against Kisi Ajabeng, so much so that people are not prepared to look beyond Kisi Ajabeng to make the office work better.
Right.
Look, I'm saying this because we have been down this route. I remember when Shraj investigated people under Judge Rolex. Remember that accident? Found them, because the people couldn't believe that a Shraj was appointed by Judge Rolex for investigation. That was a mail shot.
Yeah.
Shraj was powerful then. From that time, the wings of Shraj has been clipped. I would say that the wings of Shraj is now like a paper tiger. Since that high-profile investigation, I'm here to see Shraj do a similar thing under all the administrations. I think we were nibbling at the edges, slowly but gradually rendering Shraj, in my perfect opinion, impotent in the fight against corruption and maladministration. I am afraid that we are doing a similar thing, or we are begin to do a similar thing, either knowingly or unknowingly, to the OSP.
Yeah.
That this nibbling at its powers, this idea we are doing, and they are being done by very smart people, very smart lawyers, very powerful people, very powerful lawyers. And there is something they stand to achieve or to obtain because of this. A powerful, a neutral, independent OSP is not in the interest of powerful policymakers.
It is the reason why, Dr. Zato, right from the get-go.
Yes.
It is the reason why, right from the get-go.
Yes.
When this matter came up, as far back as in 2017, when Parliament was debating this matter,
yes,
I don't know whether Bright has that video.
Yeah.
This matter came up.
Yes.
Because there were lawyers who were of the firm belief and conviction that there was no way anybody, any institution can enjoy that independent prosecutorial powers you're talking about.
For us,
it's not possible.
Fortunately, I agree with you. Fortunately for us, now we have about 5 years, or how many years, to see it in action, right?
Yes.
We've done. So
from 2018 to 2018 to now, so that's almost 8 years.
So now the challenges are no more hypothetical.
Yes.
They're real.
Yes.
We can now say, okay, we gave birth to the baby. Now we've seen what the baby can do or cannot do.
Yes.
Maybe it's time we give the baby more powers. Now we can do it. My point is that sometimes creating these institutions becomes the difficult, the challenging thing. Sometimes getting them running becomes a problem. We've done that. They are running now. We've seen it. We can now say that based on what we've seen, this is what we need to do A, B, C, D to get you better. That is where we are now. We've moved away from its creation, the debates. We've now seen it in action. We can now sit down and say, okay, if the problems are legal, let's deal with legal issues.
Good.
If the problems are parliament, let's deal with those.
So the options that are available to us now is quite clear to all of us.
Yes.
The options are just two.
Good.
You either live with the status quo, and the status quo here means that anytime the office of the Attorney General intends to prosecute, it must go to Dr. Yeni and Justice and say, look, I want to prosecute that. Should I go ahead? They say, yes, go ahead.
Why
That's one. Okay. Let me go to the Kanamwa.
He's a big man.
So I want to prosecute the Kanamwa.
Yes.
Can I go ahead? He says, yes, go ahead. That's one option.
Yes.
And the second option is to say, let's collapse the office.
No,
because if you don't,
I refuse.
No.
There's a middle ground.
Hold on. If Kisi Ejabin does not want to seek authorization because he disagrees, and he's entitled to that disagreement. Now, if Kisi Ejabin does not agree and so decides that, look, I want to go Swomoto, as the lawyers will say, and do my own thing, he would have been in conflagration of the law. In fact, that is why the High Court judge, says all the cases that you're prosecuting, take your hands off. Send them back to the Attorney General's office. Of course, there are other issues there.
Let me come
because you know the same office of the special prosecutor has actually filed, has entered the knowledge prosecutor in some cases in the past. Now the question people are posing or asking now is that what has happened to all those cases?
Okay, so let me come to what you're saying. I disagree with that premise. Your premise is that one, either we get
the
permission, or we should just it should be leaving. So that is door number one, door number two.
Yes.
There's door number three. What is behind door number three?
What's the door number three?
Repeal or reform, amend the entrenched clause.
And I'm saying that until and unless we do that,
we can do that now. So
referendum take time.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's start now. Because you see, it takes time. That's why it cannot be done. My point is that if corruption is the biggest anti-development thing in this country, if we all agree that it's the one that is depriving people healthcare, school education, then it's worth doing. And if it needs doing now, it doesn't matter how long it takes, because fortunately the good thing is that Parliament is lopsided. So some of these things can be sped up. If it means spending time, and as I said that, such a referendum, if it comes to that, also tests our common will. We want to see those who go out and vote and campaign against it. We want to see those who go out and say, don't do this. My point is,
Ghanaians should be given an opportunity,
all of us,
to state emphatically whether they are against or for corruption.
Somebody must give them that opportunity. That person here is policymakers, it's government, it's parliament. Let's do that, because if we give Ghanaians, if we leave these two options you mentioned, they are only at the prelude of what? Policymakers. And we know what they will choose, because it is not in their interest to have such a powerful independent organization looking about every action they are taking.
All right. Duncan, I'll bring you in. And I from the look of things, it looks like you may have to end because we have just 10 minutes to go. So let me just do this before you come, because I don't want to interrupt when you start your submission on this matter. Let me continue to remind our viewers that MNC Group is your number one partner when it comes to minerals and food commodity trading, real estate development, general logistics, procurement, management consultants, investment advisory, import and export. It has headquarters in East Legon. It has one in Dubai. It has one in Hong Kong, Guangzhou in China, Johannesburg in South Africa. There's also one in Virginia, United States of America. Arezzo in Italy, Hanover in Germany. We connect markets. Essentially, that's what we do. We connect markets that drive business growth with tailor-made solutions that meet your needs. So trust us to maximize your value in every deal. So reach us on MNC Group, mncgroupgh.com, or call us on 0302 998 246, 0302 998 246, or 026 5505 5505 337, or 056 103 2252. MNC Group, totally reliant. And then also, Duncan, can you give a submission just 5 minutes so that I can use the rest of the time because I have about 10 messages. Or you want me to do the messages quickly before you come in so that when you start, you end the show with us.
No
which
problem.
Which one?
The host discretion.
That's fine. No, you're my brother, so I need to give you some flexibility. So let me look at it. So Simons, who is the managing editor of the Accra Times, he says that the Mr. Zato mentioning a high-profile case that OSP started and prosecuted successfully. Isn't it sad for some people to make it look as if it's the government that has gone to court to strip the prosecutorial powers of the OSP? And he says, Now, Mr. Alaji Dauda says, good morning, Alaji. This case of the OSP is being handled to curb a loophole that has been created for the NPP. Imagine the former finance minister comes back and after being tried for 3 years, and at the end of the trial, he triggers this issue that there's a mistrial because the OSP does not have the mandate. What happens in court where one of them is a judge? They have created all these loopholes for themselves. The Supreme Court can decide, and that loophole will be sealed. Now, Hamza from Pig Farm. Hamza, how are you? Good to hear from you. Good morning, my brother. As much as I agree with you, but a journalist like you should stop introducing Mr. Zato as a political analyst and a political lecturer. And introduce him as a member of the communication team of the NPP. This is a person who has contested to become an MP on the ticket of the NPP in the upper West region, and the records are still out there for all to see. So let's call a spade and stop beating around the bush. Moro, is Dr. Zato aware of the unfortunate words that was used by Martin Amidou against our former president, Nana Ado Dankwa Akufo-Addo? According to him, President Nana Ado is the mother serpent of corruption who is stopping him from fighting corruption in this government. What about that? He should answer me. Now, Charles he's watching us from Nigeria, and he says that operating within the confines of the law is one of the legacies of every legal system. I hope you remember all the brouhaha that arose from the attempt to use fast-track high court to prosecute Achuchi Kata. We're back to it, and we'll continue to revolve in this cycle if we continue to argue about asking people to overlook the weaknesses of foundation to build. If the OSP has not been properly enabled, let that process be achieved. If not, we'll continue to use sentiments to weaken our legal system and continue to set precedents where people can do the right thing without enablement, without realizing that the OSP actually cannot act. Sam Aku Kelly says, Mora Beg, say a big thanks to a big alabraka to what you just said concerning the political neutrality of Dr. Zato on your program and many other programs. Dr. Zato has consistently and openly defended the stance of the NPP, and we shouldn't be seen to be embellishing this fact. There has been occasions where he's been observed to be visibly turning up in his seat just because something unfavorable is being said about the NPP by his colleague panelists. View observation is key. Please let's not attempt to dismiss that for official expediency. Musa from Abattoir says that, Musa Abattoir from Kumasi says that from Asawase, let me rather put up Kumasi, Asawase, Article 88 of the Constitution gives the Attorney General full authority over criminal prosecutions, while Section 4 of the OSP Act also assigns similar prosecutorial functions to the OSP. This overlap makes the office redundant. Therefore, in my respectful view, the office has outlived its usefulness and should be scrapped so the taxpayers' money can be redirected in more impactful areas of national development. However, Godfrey Dami should be the last person to criticize judges, a person who has blah, blah, blah. I beg you, I don't want anyone to take us to court. Africa Triddle says that, good morning, Mora, and to your cherished viewers. Quite interesting to note that when Majority Leader Honorable Mahama Yarraga and Majority Chief Whip Honorable Dapio Makpo sponsored a bill in Parliament against the Office of the Special Prosecutor, General Secretary of the NDC, Honorable Fifi Fiavikwete, came up publicly to say that what the two MPs were doing was not the NDC party position. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama also advised the MPs to allow the OSP office to work. However, President Mahama cannot dictate to the court of Ghana. Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution is clear on the office of the OSP. This is coming from Tradles. And I'm going to end with Master Planner Jr. from Kintampona. He says that Dr. Zato has said it all. The OSP Act itself shoots the SP in his own foot. I'm not a lawyer, but read the Constitution and act carefully. Section 4.1 of the OSP Act states that the office is not subject to direction or control of a person or an authority in its performance of its functions except in otherwise provided in the Constitution. Now, the Constitution, i.e. Articles 88.4, also gives only the Attorney General powers to prosecute, and any other person can also prosecute if the AG gives out a fiat to do so. This doesn't make the OSP an independent body. In this case, do we have to change? Do we have to change the name of the Special Prosecutor to Special Investigator? Perhaps. Why not? Because I don't get it if he bears the same prosecutor but cannot prosecute until he requires a fiat from the Attorney General. I think we should either amend Article 88 of the Constitution to give the special prosecutor power to prosecute or scrap the office of the special prosecutor completely. Master Planner Junior Policy Analyst from Kintampo. Yes, please go ahead. Duncan, in 5 minutes we'll take us off, so please, please do this for me. Yes, please go ahead.
More.
Your thoughts?
More in 5 minutes, I'll attempt to deal with this on the basis of legality, the basis of mandate of OSP, neutrality and fairness, and then again, what the OSP has been able to achieve so far. Legality, there's clearly, you know, a lot surrounding the creation of that office, and I say this without equivocation, that we are in a hurry oftentimes to just create institutions, hand them powers that originally they should not have. And then we turn around to ask questions of the Constitution. The Constitution existed. Article 88 predated the creation of the OSP. And so if you need to create the OSP's office, and you are quite sure that 88 is a stumbling block. If Parliament at the time felt there was a need to work around 88, they should have done so before bringing into effect this amorphous creation that today seem not to have given us the results that we wanted, but is consuming public resources gravely. Question of mandate to investigate and to prosecute as a way of corruption and corruption-related offences. You'll be asking whether this mandate is not one that is already enshrined with the IOCO statutes. That is also even with the BNI, Bureau of National Investigation, that is also with the CID, Police CID, that is also with even SHRAJ, as you rightly captured. So if you had institutions whose mandates, could cut across, investigating and prosecution of such corruption and corruption-related offences, then you go back to the question of what we really sought to do with the OSP, to grant a certain body a certain autonomy to behave as though it were independent, when in practice it cannot be, because the Constitution originally has granted powers to the Attorney General that you cannot just by the stroke of a pen or by the consensus of some members of Parliament, wish away. Again, let's talk about neutrality and fairness. Dr. Zato made points that I disagree with vehemently. That the OSP's existence is beneficial to oral. The OSP did not come, at the outset of the current government. The OSP has existed, had predated this government, right? A lot of the corruption instances that we mention in this country, talk of the National Cathedral, talk of Kelny GVG, talk of all the things that civil society platforms had raised questions about. What did the OSP do about them? Are we saying that the OSP did not exist, during the previous government regime? And so for Dr. Zato to say that currently the OSP is a threat to the current government, I disagree. It was no threat to the former government. It cannot be a threat to the current government, because clearly its mandate and powers and the object of neutrality and fairness has been lost to the OSP long ago. You would hear a lot about that they have raided certain things. You would expect cases to be followed through. At the end of the day, nothing comes out of it. So it's become more or less a weaponized institution that decided. My outburst happened when it decided to go for Martin Kpebu after inviting it to come and present evidence. Then you decided to lock them. So powers that we do not ascribe or desire as a people to hand over to some individuals is what has been given to the OSP. And I think that Mr. President should allow for that office to go, because clearly, if you talk about... I do not see the relevance at this point. If you talk about legality, mandate, neutrality, fairness,
Pass that test.
it would not pass any of these tests if you subject it to public discourses. So I think that we should spend our resources on creating jobs for the youth and not spending it on an OSP bulletproof cars. And then if they decide to invite me, Duncan Amwa, tomorrow and say that, oh, we have seen money and blah, blah, then it means there's corruption. No.
All right. Duncan, thank you. And also, Dr. Zato, thank you very much for joining us. And thanks you, the audience, for watching. Yeah, feedback well taken. We've taken note of it. My name is Alvin. Thanks for watching. Assalamu alaikum. Bye-bye.
Banty, why you there? Wallahi, today you go give me my money.
Oh, my guy, what's up? Oba unze me dinner, baby. Scano, saying 500.